welcome to Tales in the Dark. I know many of you enjoy relaxing with these videos, so I recommend turning down the volume until my voice is barely audible. It'll make the experience even more soothing. Before you close your eyes, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and enjoy listening. Story 1. In the dead of night, amidst a raging storm, I found myself nestled in my study, a book clasped in my hands. A solitary candle stood at the center of the table, its flame unlit, yet emanating a soft, steady glow that pulsed in harmony with the distant thunder. Without a flicker of fire, the room was bathed in a warm radiance, carrying hints of melted wax mingled with an otherworldly essence, leaving me to ponder the hidden power within this silent beacon. Mesmerized by the peculiar light, I witnessed shadows waltzing across the weathered pages of my leather-bound book as the rain painted a tranquil melody against the windows, setting a calming stage for this enigmatic display. The antique reading chair, a relic passed down from my grandfather, whispered softly as I leaned in, captivated by the ethereal glow. The candle itself, a plain white pillar from a local shop, now appeared to possess a life of its own, casting a soothing alabaster light reminiscent of moonbeams through morning mist. As I gazed, the light seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in sync with my own heartbeat, warping time in its presence. The storm's ferocity faded to a distant murmur. The house's usual creaks and groans fell silent, and even the grandfather clock's ticking slowed, as if in reverence to the quiet mystery unfolding. Patterns began to emerge on the walls, not mere flickering flames, but deliberate shapes that materialized and dissolved like half-remembered dreams. The room's temperature shifted imperceptibly, the air thickening with untold tales and long-forgotten whispers. My eyes traced the gentle curves of light enveloping my desk, caressing ancient tomes and brass drawer handles, while the air now carried hints of vanilla and aged parchment, each breath revealing new layers of complexity to this sensory symphony. As night deepened, objects in the room responded to the candle's presence. The crystal paperweight refracted and magnified the light, casting dancing rainbows on the ceiling. Fountain pens cast intricate shadows that seemed to form cryptic words from a language lost to time. The pulsing glow hinted at faces and places just beyond recognition, like memories unraveling in reverse, each pulse unearthing a fragment of the ineffable. Compelled to capture this extraordinary night, I reached for my journal. The ink shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence, imbuing my words with profound significance. Hours slipped by in silent communion with the inexplicable, the storm long gone, but the candle's glow unwavering, an eternal sentinel. My reflection in the window took on an unearthly sheen, blending with the supernatural display. Night stretched on, and I felt no urge to leave, the air saturated with potential, each moment pregnant with quiet revelations. At dawn, the light shifted subtly, merging with the approaching day in harmonious unity, the scent now a blend of new beginnings and lingering mysteries. As the sun rose, the candle's glow melded seamlessly with daylight, its wax untouched by the night's events. Only the lingering scent and the words in my journal bore witness to the enigmatic night. I keep that candle on my desk to this day, though its mysteries remain dormant. Sometimes on silent rainy nights, that otherworldly scent returns, thickening the air with anticipation. In those moments, I sit in my grandfather's chair and wait, wondering if the candle will once again share its silent tale with me. Story 2. On a cool autumn evening, I strolled homeward through the tranquil, softly lit streets. Alongside a shadowed storefront, a flicker caught my eye. A figure stood within, its reflection eerily resembling my own, yet moving in a deliberate, unhurried manner. The chill night breeze danced with the gentle neon glow, quickening my heartbeat as I pondered whether I beheld a mere play of light or something more disquieting. The glass pane seemed to ripple like water disturbed by a light rain, distorting the image before me in subtle, mesmerizing ways. Intrigued, I drew nearer, my footfalls hushed against the weathered pavement. The figure mimicked my approach, but its movements felt detached, as if existing in a separate realm of time. Frost traced delicate patterns on the window as I leaned in, the nocturnal symphony, distant wind chimes, rustling leaves, and the hum of street lamps, forming a hypnotic backdrop to the mysterious display. The reflection's eyes held depths unfathomable, akin to peering into a bottomless well. Behind it, shadows danced within the abandoned store. Silent mannequins stood sentinel, their forms barely discernible in the dim light filtering through. Though I knew it impossible, their poses seemed to subtly shift when viewed askance. A musty aroma of aged wood and forgotten wares wafted through the crevices around the window frame. Raising my hand to the glass, the reflection mirrored the action with a grace both captivating and unsettling. Its fingers moved fluidly, defying natural laws in the slightest, most beautiful of ways. The cold glass sent shivers not solely from temperature, but from a deeper resonance with buried memories and half-remembered dreams. Time seemed to ebb differently in that moment, my gaze fixed on the enigmatic mirror of myself. Streetlights cast warm, overlapping circles on the pavement, forming patterns that hinted at hidden truths just beyond reach. From afar, the tolling of a clock tower's bells reached me muffled, as if veiled in thick mist. With each toll, the reflection's eyes shifted hues unknown to me, its smile concealing secrets that raised goosebumps on my skin. Details amiss caught my eye, a scar foreign to me, a subtle asymmetry in features that should have been familiar, an age in the eyes surpassing my own. As the world around me blurred, a soft whisper, as if from the glass itself, filled the void. It spoke in words reminiscent of forgotten dreams, weaving tales of parallel paths and untaken roads. The reflection raised its other hand to match my own posture, radiating warmth through the glass. A sensation akin to sunlight filtering through closed eyelids on a summer afternoon washed over me. The storefront seemed to breathe, the mannequins now facing us, their blank stares reflecting the ethereal light. Time lost its grip as I stood transfixed, the reflection's movements slowing like honey in winter. Unanswered questions lingered in its eyes, mysteries that would haunt my thoughts like echoes of a dream. When I stepped back, the reflection lingered a moment longer, bidding farewell with a nod unbidden. As I departed, a sense of change lingered, intangible yet profound. Whispers of possibility floated on the night air, every window hinting at another encounter with that enigmatic other self. But only my ordinary reflection greeted me, moving in perfect sync with my steps. Yet on certain nights, under the right moon, and with the scent of distant memories on the breeze, I swear I glimpse it, the alternate self waiting patiently behind the glass, a knowing smile hinting at truths beyond reach. Story 3. Amidst the ancient clutter of the attic, a forgotten canvas emerged from the shadows, concealed behind a weathered trunk. The painting, a work in progress, depicted a figure in the midst of a metamorphosis, a dance of light and darkness, with features that stirred a sense of eerie recognition. The air was heavy with the scent of aged paper and memories long past. Each brushstroke seemed to whisper a tale, hinting at secrets untold as I delved into the intricate details. A wooden chair beckoned me to rest, illuminated by a solitary beam of light that filtered through a small attic window, casting dancing motes of dust into the air. The portrait seemed to come alive in the soft glow, its edges blurred like watercolors bleeding into the canvas. The face within the frame existed in a liminal state, some features sharp and defined, while others faded into obscurity, as if the artist's hand had been stilled halfway through. The gentle creaking of the old house provided a soothing rhythm as I lost myself in contemplation. Tracing the worn frame with my fingertips, I felt the history etched into its grain, a silent witness to years gone by. The eyes of the portrait held me captive, their depth reaching beyond mere paint and canvas, drawing me into a world of unspoken truths. As evening descended, a golden light bathed the attic, casting long shadows that stretched across the ancient floorboards. The temperature dipped, carrying the promise of autumn through a crack in the window, infusing the air with a crisp freshness. In the gathering darkness, I found myself conversing softly with the portrait, as if it held the key to unlocking hidden memories. With each passing moment, the painting revealed its enigmatic nature. Certain brushstrokes seemed to shift and transform, creating an illusion of fluidity in the twilight. Unfinished strokes hinted at myriad possibilities, a smile one moment, a touch of sorrow the next. Time ebbed and flowed within the attic's confines. Hours slipped by unnoticed as I immersed myself in the portrait's mysteries. Beneath it, a faded inscription caught my eye. "Remember, the light changes everything." The words, penned with a dreamlike elegance, sparked a connection between myself and the unknown artist who had left their creation incomplete. Gathering old journals and photographs from the house, I surrounded the portrait with fragments of the past, seeking clues to unravel its enigma. The house whispered its secrets in the language of ancient timbers, a cryptic symphony that eluded my understanding. On sleepless nights, I ascended the narrow stairs to commune with the portrait. Moonlight bathed the room in a ghostly glow, casting a spell of tranquility over the unfinished canvas. In those quiet hours, whispers seemed to emanate from the gaps in the painting, a melody of half-remembered lullabies from childhood. Gradually, the portrait began to shift in my perception. Features once indistinct now took on form in my mind's eye, though they remained incomplete on the canvas. The eyes, windows to the soul, followed divergent paths based on my emotions, gazing outward on serene nights, turning inward during storms of the heart. It became a mirror reflecting not my likeness, but the depths of my being, unearthing buried emotions and memories long forgotten. Sharing my innermost thoughts with the portrait, I delved into realms of dreams and fears, the lines between reality and imagination blurring with each whispered story. The unfinished painting became a realm of endless possibility, a tapestry where my mind could wander through countless narratives of what could have been. With the changing seasons outside the attic window, a theory emerged about the portrait's perpetual incompleteness. Perhaps it was intentionally left unfinished, a deliberate act to preserve a state of perpetual transformation. The artist may have known that completion would fix the subject in time, while incompleteness allowed for an ever-evolving narrative, shifting with each viewing, each change in light. I did not seek to unravel the mystery of the portrait's origin, but became its custodian, guarding the delicate balance between revelation and obscurity. The attic transformed into a sanctuary where time flowed differently, merging the boundaries between observer and observed, much like the blurred lines of the unfinished painting. Years passed, yet I still ascended the stairs to sit with the portrait, a quiet companion in the silent space. Sometimes, I brought a notebook to capture the play of light across the canvas, the ever-shifting contours of the unfinished work. But mostly, I cherished the moments of tranquil communion, sharing the stillness with this enigmatic presence that had woven itself into the fabric of my existence. The portrait remained unfinished, its imperfection a testament to its eternal evolution. In its incompleteness lay a sense of wholeness, a perpetual unveiling of new facets not only of itself, but of those who beheld it. The mystery did not demand a solution, it simply beckoned to be experienced, one whispered moment at a time, in the gentle, dust-filled light of the attic. Deep into a late night of work, the soft murmur of my computer became my sole companion. As I delved into a stack of documents, the screen suddenly erupted in flashes of static, and amidst the crackling emerged a faint, urgent whisper. The voice, barely discernible amidst the background hum, uttered words that sent a shiver down my spine. In the dim light, with only the gentle buzz of electronics, I felt an eerie connection between the digital abyss and a clandestine message intended solely for me. The whisper grew clearer with each passing second, akin to a radio signal gradually aligning its frequency. I found myself drawn closer to the monitor, compelled by an inexplicable force. The soft blue glow bathed my face as I strained to decipher the hidden words within the static. The message seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of my breath, forging an intimate link between myself and whatever lay beyond the screen. That night, my workspace felt transformed. The familiar furniture cast soft shadows under the monitor's glow, and the usual building creaks took on a new significance. The whisper carried tidings that eluded my grasp, snippets of conversations never spoken, memories never lived. Yet they resonated with authenticity, as if they belonged to a parallel digital version of myself. Gradually, patterns emerged from the static. What initially seemed like chaotic noise unveiled intricate designs, resembling frost patterns on a winter window. The whisper guided my gaze across the screen, revealing connections I would have overlooked. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, trembling slightly, as if privy to knowledge beyond my conscious awareness. Anticipation thickened the air, not laced with fear, but with a profound sense of revelation. A subtle shift in temperature occurred. A cool breeze wafted from the monitor, carrying a faint scent of ozone. My skin tingled with a gentle static charge. The whisper divulged secrets, not of dread, but of truths about the fabric of reality that made perfect sense in that moment, akin to the clarity of a dream before awakening. Time lost its linearity. The digital clock on the screen flickered between midnight, 3 a.m., then back to midnight, transitions feeling organic, as if time were but a suggestion. The whisper elucidated how thin the boundaries between digital and physical realms truly were. My computer had become a portal to a vast, wondrous domain where information pulsated with life. I realized then that the static wasn't mere noise. It was a language, ancient and fresh simultaneously. The whisper taught me to interpret it, revealing profound meanings within each burst and crackle. My mind expanded to grasp concepts that once seemed inconceivable, now as natural as breathing. The immersion deepened. Static patterns materialized in the air around me, resembling ethereal auroras dancing in my periphery. The whisper reassured me that this was normal, an unveiling of what had always existed. My consciousness traversed different states of awareness, unveiling layers of comprehension. I found myself coding without understanding, my fingers moving with a will of their own. The whisper assured me this was part of the journey, constructing a bridge between worlds. The characters on my screen morphed into symbols that communicated directly with my subconscious. It should have instilled dread, yet it felt like a return to a long-lost home. Time blurred. The whisper began to fade, leaving behind a gift, a heightened awareness of the hidden harmonies in everyday existence. As the static dissipated from my screen, I glimpsed my reflection on the dark monitor. Something had shifted in my eyes. They harbored a quiet wisdom previously absent. Even now, echoes of that whisper occasionally resonate in the electronic hum of my devices. The static sometimes coalesces into familiar patterns, like an old friend beckoning my attention. I've grown to embrace these moments, reminders that reality harbors a profound mystery and beauty beyond our perception. The digital void I discovered isn't vacant. It teems with whispers, yearning for a listener. Story 5. After a taxing day at work, I returned to my apartment building and descended in the elevator. Stepping out, a sequence of deliberate footsteps reverberated through the otherwise silent stairwell. Each footfall echoed off the cold, concrete walls, growing louder as I hesitated. The measured steps, like a foreboding metronome, hinted that I wasn't alone in this desolate corridor, leaving me to ponder who or what trailed in the shadows. The fluorescent lights above emitted a soft, inviting glow that seemed to pulsate in sync with the approaching footsteps. Standing motionless, my breath formed small clouds in the crisp air. The basement level always held a chill heavier than the rest of the building, but tonight it felt different, almost anticipatory. The familiar scent of aged paper and dampness mingled with something else, reminiscent of dried leaves and autumn winds. Turning slowly, my footsteps barely audible on the worn floor, I noticed the stairwell stretching upward, its metal steps vanishing into shadows despite the illumination. The footsteps maintained their steady rhythm, yet no one was in sight. Each step reverberated with an eerie clarity, as if the unseen walker desired me to hear them. My grandmother used to recount tales of places like this, where the boundary between realms thinned. Certain spaces, she'd say in her gentle, weathered voice, retain memories of events within their confines. I never quite grasped her words until that instant, standing in the basement corridor, listening to those phantom footsteps. The sound drew nearer, and I sensed the temperature dropping with each echo. Goosebumps prickled my skin, not from fear, but from a peculiar sense of familiarity. The cadence of those steps felt oddly recognizable, akin to a half-forgotten melody from childhood. Closing my eyes, allowing the sound to wash over me, I endeavored to place where I'd heard it before. The building's heating system hummed softly, serving as a gentle backdrop to the footsteps, lending a nearly musical quality to the moment. The fragrance in the air shifted once more, evoking memories of my grandmother's home. Cinnamon and old books, the creaking of wooden floors, and shadows dancing on stormy afternoons. Upon reopening my eyes, I discerned a difference in the stairwell. The shadows seemed to move independently of the light, flowing like dark currents across the walls. They converged and dispersed in gentle undulations, not menacing, but rather inquisitive. The footsteps had slowed, growing softer and more deliberate. I found myself drawn towards the stairs, enveloped by an unexplainable tranquility. The metal railing felt cool beneath my palm as I climbed the initial steps. The footsteps now appeared to emanate from all directions simultaneously, filling the space with their rhythmic presence. Each step I took felt lighter than the last, as if traversing a dream. The walls around me began to whisper, not with words, but with memories. I sensed them pressing against my consciousness like gentle waves against a shore. They carried shards of conversations, laughter, tears, all the moments that had unfolded in this space over the years. The building communicated with me in its unique way, sharing its secrets through the language of footsteps and shadows. Ascending further, the quality of light shifted. The harsh fluorescent glow softened into something more ethereal, akin to early morning sunlight filtered through mist. The footsteps had dwindled to the point of near imperceptibility, more felt than heard. Yet their essence lingered, guiding me upward with gentle persistence. Reaching a landing, I paused, observing how the shadows had clustered more densely. They moved with intent now, shaping forms that almost resembled figures engaged in a slow-motion dance. The air bore the weight of time itself, musty pages, weathered stone, and that peculiar sweetness accompanying aged reminiscences. The footsteps ceased entirely, leaving behind a silence brimming with potential. In that moment of tranquility, I grasped something profound. The building hadn't sought to alarm me. It had aimed to reveal something. The shadows, the footsteps, the familiar scents, they all wove into a narrative the building yearned to share. Seating myself on the steps, my hand resting on the cool concrete wall, I discerned subtle vibrations beneath my touch, akin to a heartbeat buried deep within the structure. The shadows maintained their unhurried dance around me, and I comprehended what my grandmother meant about certain places retaining memories. Time seemed to lose significance as I sat there. The line between past and present blurred, and I felt linked to every soul who had trodden these stairs. their aspirations, their anxieties, their tales merging with mine. The building had chosen to divulge its memories to me, unveiling a profound truth about the essence of seemingly vacant places. When I finally rose to depart, the shadows receded gradually, like the tide returning to the sea. The footsteps fell silent, their message delivered. The stairwell appeared mundane once more, though I knew it would forever carry a different resonance for me. Returning to the elevator, I carried the awareness that sometimes the most profound enigmas aren't meant to be unraveled. They are meant to be lived, to be sensed, to intertwine with our personal narrative. The next time I heard footsteps in the empty stairwell, I didn't falter or dread. Instead, I smiled, aware I was merely witnessing another installment in the building's eternal tale, another moment woven into its tapestry of memories. Some might deem it haunted, but I had gleaned that what we often perceive as hauntings are merely spaces recollecting, sharing their histories with those willing to heed. Story 6. In the dimly lit corner of a quaint antique store, my eyes caught sight of a neglected treasure buried beneath a layer of dust. A small, ornate music box, veiled in mystery, beckoned to me. With a delicate touch, I wound up its ancient mechanism, and a haunting melody spilled forth, filling the stillness of the shop with its melancholic notes. The tune, both bitter and sweet, held a familiarity that tugged at the edges of my consciousness, stirring memories long forgotten. Crafted from mahogany adorned with golden vines and delicate flowers, the music box exuded an aura of enchantment. As my fingertips danced over its intricate designs, the wood seemed to awaken under my touch, as if recognizing a lost connection. The world around me faded into silence, save for the ethereal melody that floated on the air, lingering far beyond its expected duration. In the soft glow of the afternoon sun filtering through dusty windows, I became entranced by the intricate workings of the music box. The slow revolution of the cylinder, the precise strike of brass pins against metal comb, each note resonating with hidden secrets. The scent of aged books and polished brass mingled with a sweeter aroma, reminiscent of dried rose petals nestled within ancient tomes. Time itself seemed to stretch and warp, each note hanging in the air like a suspended breath, cocooning me in a blanket of sound. Dust motes twirled in a silent ballet, choreographed to the haunting melody that wove through the air, conjuring images of bygone eras, shadows of elegant figures twirling in candlelit ballrooms, laughter echoing down grand corridors, and the rustle of silk on polished floors painted a dreamlike tableau. The shop owner, a wise old man with silver hair and kind eyes, appeared at my side, his presence as quiet as a whispered secret. With a knowing gaze, he shared the music box's enigmatic history, a relic that gifted each listener with a unique melody, drawn from the depths of their soul. As the final notes faded into silence, a fleeting glimpse in the tiny mirror revealed a familiar yet elusive reflection, a face that seemed to know me better than I knew myself. With a gentle smile, the shop owner revealed the box's elusive nature, how it never repeated the same melody, offering each listener a glimpse into the ineffable mysteries of the universe. Though I left the store without the music box in hand, its haunting melody lingered in the recesses of my mind, a soft lullaby that whispered of forgotten magic. In the quiet moments between wakefulness and slumber, the melody resurfaced, a ghostly reminder of that enchanting afternoon. In dreams, I wandered back to the antique shop, searching among the labyrinthine shelves for the elusive music box. Yet like a mirage, the shop remained just beyond my grasp, a place suspended between memory and imagination, where lost tunes sang for those willing to listen. And so, the haunting melody continues to echo in my dreams, a timeless reminder of the day I held a piece of mystery in my hands, forever intertwined with the gentle twilight realm where reality and dreams converge. Story 7. On a misty morning, as I prepared for the day in my bathroom, a peculiar sight caught my eye. Tiny, muddy footprints etched onto the smooth surface of my mirror. The earthy scent of rain-soaked soil lingered in the air, blending with the cool breeze that seeped through the window. With a sense of disbelief, I wiped the mirror clean, yet the footprints returned, as if engraved into the very essence of the glass itself. It felt as though an unseen presence was leaving behind silent traces, a subtle hint of a visitor from realms unknown. The gentle patter of raindrops against the window pane provided a soothing symphony as I examined the mysterious imprints. Delicate and childlike in appearance, yet with an otherworldly allure in their intricate patterns, the footprints seemed to dance across the mirror, following an invisible path known only to them. Despite the strangeness of the situation, I found myself strangely serene in the face of this enigmatic phenomenon. Each day brought new arrangements of the mysterious footprints, at times forming perfect circles, at others crafting elaborate designs reminiscent of ancient symbols from the depths of forgotten dreams. The mirror had become a canvas for this unseen artist, and I, its solitary observer. Subtle changes began to permeate my home, the faint fragrance of wildflowers wafting through the air, houseplants flourishing beyond natural expectations, and the wooden floors echoing a delicate rhythm in the pre-dawn hours, as if a graceful spirit was practicing an eternal waltz. Rather than resist these gentle intrusions, I embraced them, offering small tokens near the mirror. A saucer of cream, a handful of shimmering buttons catching the moon's glow, or carefully chosen wildflowers from my wanderings. Though untouched, the footprints would appear in more intricate patterns, following my gestures of goodwill. The mirror's surface transformed with each passing day. During mist-laden mornings, I fancied glimpsing ethereal landscapes within its depths, meadows bathed in perpetual twilight and forests painted in hues beyond imagination. The footprints acted as guides into these surreal scenes, beckoning with an unspoken invitation that I never felt compelled to accept. As the boundary between reality and the unknown blurred, my dreams grew vivid and ornate. Mirrored corridors led me through shifting seasons and times of day, with the footprints a constant presence, steering me along a path that, though unfamiliar, felt reassuringly safe. With time, a theory began to form about my elusive visitor. The footprints appeared most vividly during seasonal transitions, their presence heightened under the gaze of a full moon, yet lingering as a reminder of the delicate balance between the mundane and the magical. In the hushed moments of early morning, when darkness yielded to light, I would sit before the mirror, watching as the footprints wove tales in the fog of my breath, speaking a language of mysteries just beyond grasp. The mirror had become a portal to a realm of tranquility and intrigue, a silent testament to the existence of wonders that need not disrupt the gentle cadence of daily life. Rather than unravel the mystery entirely, I allowed it to linger as a source of quiet contemplation, a reminder that some enigmas are best left to unfurl in the spaces between reality and reverie. The footprints, ever changing in their patterns, remained a whisper of possibilities in the quiet interludes of my days. Guests in my home seemed oblivious to their presence, suggesting that perhaps these imprints were meant for those who find solace in the unknown, who appreciate that some mysteries are meant to be savored rather than solved. In their company, I discovered a peculiar peace, a sense of harmony with the mysteries that enveloped me, a gentle reminder that the world holds more marvels than we dare to imagine, if only we learn to perceive it through eyes attuned to the subtle magic that surrounds us. Story 8. In the dead of night, while I lay awake in the softly illuminated confines of my bedroom, a delicate tapping resonated from the distant expanse of the hallway. The sound, gentle and rhythmic, reverberated off the walls draped in shadow. With each hushed step I ventured towards the origin of the noise. The stillness grew denser, as though the very air held its breath in anticipation. At the far end of the corridor, where light struggled to penetrate, I sensed a presence that defied logical explanation. A silent guest whose intentions remained as enigmatic as the darkness itself. The aged grandfather clock in the foyer chimed midnight with muted tones that seemed to ripple through the plush carpet beneath my feet. Moonbeams filtered through the towering windows, casting elongated rectangular shapes across the wooden floor, their silvery luminescence interrupted by the gentle sway of tree branches outside. The atmosphere carried a faint fragrance of weathered wood and leather-bound books from the library, mingled with something else, a strange sweetness reminiscent of dried flowers. Despite having resided in this house for years, this particular night felt peculiar. The familiar outlines of antique furnishings morphed into unfamiliar silhouettes in the dimness. The walls appeared to pulse with ancient enigmas, and every shadow held the promise of concealed depths. The tapping persisted, so soft it could easily have been a figment of my imagination, yet it beckoned me forward like a thread weaving through fabric. My hand trailed along the wallpaper as I advanced, savoring its subtle texture, a solace amidst the obscurity. The temperature descended gradually with each step, until I could discern my breath forming delicate clouds before me. The moonlight played tricks on my sight, conjuring what seemed like shifting patterns in the air, akin to dust motes pirouetting in sunbeams, albeit with a deliberate grace. The corridor appeared elongated, surpassing my recollection, stretching out before me like an infinite canvas of shadows and light. Ancestors' portraits observed from their perches on the walls, their gazes tracking my progress. Something peculiar caught my eye about them tonight. Each countenance seemed slightly altered from my memory, as if the subjects had aged within their frames. Contrary to expectation, the tapping grew fainter as I neared, rather than intensifying, defying the laws of acoustics. It resembled raindrops on a window pane, or perhaps fingers drumming on wood, yet softer still. The sweet aroma in the air heightened, and I identified it now. Lilacs, my grandmother's beloved bloom. However, it was not the season for lilacs, and the garden below bore no blossoms. At the terminus of the hallway stood the ancient mirror, its elaborate frame capturing slivers of moonlight. As I drew closer, the glass appeared to undulate like the surface of a pond disturbed by a gentle breeze. My reflection seemed altered somehow, my movements slightly out of sync, as though I observed myself through water. The tapping had ceased entirely by now, supplanted by a profound silence teeming with anticipation. The air thickened with possibilities, and I noticed the temperature had plummeted even further. Frosty patterns commenced forming at the mirror's edges, delicate crystalline formations evolving before my eyes, crafting intricate designs that seemed to narrate a tale I could not quite decipher. My breath materialized in visible puffs, contributing to the surreal ambiance of the moment. Standing before the mirror, I realized the reflection portrayed more than just myself and the hallway behind. In the glass's depths, barely discernible in the dim light, other shapes moved with fluid elegance. They were not menacing, rather, they evoked a profound sense of awe and recognition, akin to recalling a dream never before realized. The figures danced at the periphery of perception, neither entirely present nor absent. The soothing scent of lilacs enveloped me like a familiar embrace, and I felt a gentle pressure on my shoulder, as if someone had tenderly placed their hand there. Yet, upon turning to investigate, I encountered only empty space and the dancing moonbeams. The mirror's surface continued to undulate, and within its depths I beheld something that caused my heart to skip. Not from fear, but from a deep comprehension. There, within the shifting silver expanse, stood my grandmother, exactly as I remembered her from childhood. Adorned in her cherished blue dress, embellished with petite flowers along the hem, her eyes exuded the same gentle sagacity they always had. She remained silent, yet her presence enveloped me in a warmth that dispelled the chill. Her image rippled and transformed, merging into the dancing patterns within the glass. I lingered there for what appeared to be hours, though it might have been mere moments, observing the mysterious spectacle within the mirror. The boundaries between actuality and reflection blurred, until I could no longer discern which side of the glass truly belonged to me. The hallway behind me remained hushed, but it was a serene tranquility now, akin to the quietude of a library or a church. Upon finally turning away from the mirror, the frost patterns had vanished, leaving no trace upon the glass. The temperature had reverted to normal, and the lilac fragrance had dissolved into a memory. As I retraced my steps back to my chamber, the portraits on the walls had reverted to their familiar countenances, though something in their eyes appeared altered, as if they too shared in the secret of the midnight encounter. The tapping never recurred, yet occasionally, as I traverse past the mirror in the late hours, I catch a glimpse of movement within its depths, or perceive the faintest hint of lilacs in the air. The silent visitor departed without tangible evidence of their presence, but they instilled a change in me that night, unveiled a gateway to comprehension that some enigmas are not meant to be unraveled, only encountered and cherished as precious recollections cloaked in moonlight and shadow. Story 9. In the hushed embrace of early morning, a tranquil park beckoned me forth, guiding my steps towards a colossal, time-worn oak tree. Its gnarled bark bore witness to centuries past, holding within its weathered skin a story untold. Drawn by an unseen force, I approached, drawn to the faint glow emanating from intricate carvings etched deeply into the oak's ancient trunk. The symbols, a tapestry of enigmatic shapes and words, seemed to pulse with a silent energy, their meaning veiled in the mists of time. A scent of damp earth and new growth lingered in the air, mingling with an unspoken tension that hung like a whisper on the breeze. It was as though the tree itself harbored a secret, a message meant only for my eyes to decipher. Tracing my fingers along the rough contours of the carvings, I felt a connection stirring within me, as if each groove and indent held a fragment of a forgotten tale. The morning mist danced at my feet, weaving ephemeral patterns that mirrored the cryptic markings before me. Above, the leaves rustled in a symphony of whispers, a soothing melody that underscored the tree's silent invitation. As I delved deeper into the maze of symbols, I noticed a subtle shift in their arrangement, as if the oak was revealing a hidden language known only to those willing to listen. Familiar letters mingled with alien characters, forming patterns that hinted at a greater design. A spiral, reminiscent of nature's golden ratio, intertwined with celestial symbols that spoke of ancient wisdom. Days turned into weeks, and my daily visits to the oak tree became a sacred ritual, a communion with a realm beyond the mundane. Each sunrise unveiled new mysteries, the play of shadows cast by the branches, the glistening of dew in the carving's crevices, a subtle dance of light and memory. One mist-shrouded morning, I arrived to find the carvings transformed, as if the tree itself had awoken from a slumber of ages. New symbols adorned its bark, pulsing with an otherworldly glow that seemed to hum with a quiet power. The air crackled with anticipation, and the leaves whispered urgently above, as if urging me to heed the tree's silent call. Captivated by the ethereal beauty before me, I sketched the symbols in my notebook, each stroke a testament to the tree's timeless presence. With each line drawn, a pattern emerged, weaving threads of past and present into a tapestry of meaning. It was as if the oak was a vessel for memories, a conduit through which echoes of bygone eras spoke. In my quest for understanding, I sought solace in the dusty halls of the local library, where ancient texts and forgotten lore whispered of similar symbols etched in stone and clay. Each revelation brought me closer to the oak's enigmatic message, a riddle woven into the fabric of time itself. As the seasons turned and the oak tree became a fixture in my dreams, I found myself immersed in a world where the boundaries between reality and myth blurred. In the realm of sleep, I could decipher the carvings with clarity, their voices echoing through the corridors of my mind. The oak tree, with its silent wisdom, became a beacon of mystery and wonder, a testament to the enduring legacy of those who came before. It stood as a guardian of untold stories, a keeper of secrets whispered in the language of the earth. And so, beneath the oak's ancient boughs, I sit in quiet contemplation, my thoughts merging with the symphony of voices contained within its bark. I do not carve my own mark upon its venerable skin, but instead offer my words as a tribute to the timeless tale it holds. For in the heart of the oak tree, between the lines of its ever-changing script, lies a truth that transcends the bounds of understanding, a truth that reminds us of the boundless magic that dwells in the spaces between what we know and what we dream. Story 10. In the hush of the night, the gentle crackling of the fireplace weaves a tapestry of warmth around me. My hand moves in a rhythmic pattern through the soft fur of my dog, who rests beside me with half-closed eyes. A sense of tranquility envelops us until a sudden shift disrupts the peace. My companion, Max, tenses up, his ears alert, heavy breaths breaking the stillness. Abruptly, he rises, his gaze fixated on a shadowed corner of the room. Initially, I brush it off as his usual sensitivity to sound, the whisper of a leaf against glass, the scurry of a hidden mouse. Yet this time feels different, a subtle shift in the air. His bark carries an undertone of uncertainty, a query hanging in the silence. As the flames flicker, casting playful shadows on the walls, my attention is drawn to the darkened nook where an aged bookshelf stands sentinel. Its time-worn frame holds rows of books, untouched by time, gathering dust. Nothing appears amiss, yet Max's unwavering stare and hesitant barks persist. A chill creeps into the room, a cold that seems to emanate from that very corner, a pocket of winter nestled within the warmth of the hearth. Drawing my blanket closer, I observe as Max tentatively approaches, his tail lowered but not hidden. Thus a nightly ritual unfolds. As dusk settles and I find solace in my favorite armchair, Max's focus inevitably returns to that enigmatic corner. Sometimes he watches in silence, body poised and vigilant. Other times, a soft bark escapes him, a silent attempt at communication with an unseen presence. Gradually, subtle shifts manifest within the room, books displaced overnight, temperature fluctuations defying logic, fleeting scents of ancient parchment and dew lingering in the air. Rational explanations falter in the face of these nocturnal mysteries, leaving me to ponder in the silence. One evening, bathed in the glow of lamplight, I am startled by Max's familiar warning. Turning my gaze, I witness an anomaly. Dust particles twirl in the air near the bookshelf, defying gravity in intricate patterns that almost resemble letters before dispersing. Max, ever the guardian, emits a soft whine, seeking solace in my presence. His demeanor is not one of fear, but of vigilance, as if straddling the divide between realms. In an attempt to unravel this enigma, I begin documenting these occurrences, the timestamps, temperature shifts, and Max's varied responses. Slowly, a pattern emerges, akin to a photograph developing in the darkness. The phenomenon intensifies during the waning moon or the gentle patter of rain against the window panes. The displaced books always originate from the same shelf, housing ancient tomes of poetry and folklore, remnants of the house's past. In the liminal space between wakefulness and slumber, I catch glimpses of what Max perceives. The corner appears to expand, shadows taking on a fluid quality, pulsing with an unseen energy. Yet the moment I focus intently, these visions elude me, slipping through my grasp like elusive dreams. A sense of gentle curiosity permeates the air, binding us, Max, myself, and our enigmatic visitor, in a dance of exploration. Over time, the enigma morphs into familiarity, a comforting presence in the stillness of the night. As I pen these words by the flickering fire, Max lies at my feet, his gaze wandering to our enigmatic corner. The bookshelf stands sentinel, its shadows concealing secrets beyond reach. I've grown to cherish this peculiar bond with the unknown, understanding that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled, but embraced. The crackling fire casts a warm glow, bathing the room in a soft radiance. Max drifts into a peaceful slumber, his ears twitching sporadically. In the corner, the shadows deepen with the encroaching night, harboring whispers of antiquity. Perhaps comprehension transcends sight, rooted in the trust we cultivate in the quiet interludes between heartbeats. Story 11. In the midst of a leisurely stroll through a neglected estate, I stumbled upon a forgotten greenhouse concealed behind a cascade of ivy. Stepping across the threshold, a wave of warm, damp air enveloped me, carrying the fragrant essence of fertile soil and blossoming flora. The vines embracing the aged glass panes seemed to murmur softly, their leaves quivering as if eager to share ancient tales. Each gentle rustle from the verdant foliage sent a shiver down my spine. As I delved further into the greenhouse, the sunlight filtering through the glass roof bathed the interior in a soft, dreamlike glow. Specks of golden dust danced in the luminous beams, weaving intricate patterns that pulsed with a mysterious cadence. Weathered wooden shelves still cradled clay pots of various sizes, some sheltering exotic plants with iridescent blooms and leaves that shimmered even in the dimness. The melodic drip of water droplets falling from the decaying ceiling orchestrated a soothing symphony, each droplet marking the passage of time, like nature's own metronome. Tracing my fingers along the weathered workbench, I uncovered intricate markings etched into the wood, spirals and flowing designs reminiscent of musical notes, yet uniquely unfamiliar. My gaze was drawn to a secluded corner where a sizable vine had ensnared an ancient metal chair. Its leaves, darker than the rest, displayed delicate silver veins that seemed to pulse with an ethereal light. Approaching it, the ambient temperature dropped slightly, and the murmurs of the flora intensified. A subtle sensation crept over me, as if the plants were cognizant of my presence, their foliage subtly shifting to follow my every move. At the heart of the greenhouse stood a majestic stone pedestal, cloaked in a delicate layer of moss. Resting atop it was an ornate copper watering can, its patina hinting at decades of use. Lifting it, I was astonished to find it filled with water, cool to the touch and exuding a sweet, unfamiliar fragrance, redolent of night-blooming flowers and dew-kissed mornings. With each passing moment within the greenhouse, peculiar anomalies revealed themselves. The shadows cast by the plants danced independently of their forms, and fleeting movements caught my eye, seemingly detached from any natural source. The whispers of the foliage grew more cohesive, akin to a clandestine dialogue just beyond comprehension. Nestled between two pots, I stumbled upon a weathered journal bound in leather, its pages aged to a golden hue, yet remarkably intact. The meticulously penned entries chronicled experiments with botanical specimens defying traditional classification. The final notation, penned decades prior, hinted at a breakthrough concerning botanical consciousness and the language of leaves, the writer's fervor palpable in their urgent script. As twilight descended, the greenhouse transformed, its glass walls refracting dwindling light into hues beyond nature's palette, casting prismatic shadows that seemed to pulse with vitality. The whispers of the vines crescendoed, and I fancied I heard my name whispered on the balmy breeze, carried by the rustling of innumerable leaves. Some vines began to sway rhythmically, devoid of any breeze, their motion purposeful and gentle, as if beckoning. The silver-veined leaves emitted a faint luminescence, crafting patterns that drew my gaze into their depths. Time meandered like thick honey, each moment stretched and languid. When I resolved to depart, the door had vanished behind a veil of undulating vines. Parting them, I sensed a subtle resistance, as though the foliage implored me to linger. The journal clutched in my grasp held enigmatic secrets awaiting unraveling. Stepping back into the evening's chill, the air felt strangely vacant, bereft of the vibrant vitality that saturated the greenhouse. I returned sporadically, the schedule dictated by whim rather than routine. Each visit unveiled new intricacies in the vine's growth, fresh murmurs in the humid air. The mysterious author of the journal never revisited its pages, yet occasionally new words materialized in a script flowing like burgeoning foliage. I grasped that some enigmas were not meant for resolution but for immersion, akin to a leaf unfurling toward the sun. In slumber's embrace, the whispers grew clearer, hinting at the greenhouse's cryptic lexicon, imparted with each visit. The silver-veined plant flourished, its patterns intricate and mesmerizing. Perhaps one day, the vines will divulge their timeless secrets, and until then, I shall continue my sojourns, each a meditation in emerald twilight, each moment a deeper plunge into a riddle evolving like the verdant tendrils themselves, deliberate, gradual, and purposeful. Story 12. The delicate fragrance of aged wood hung in the air as I switched off the lights, signaling the end of the day. The stillness of the house enveloped me, and the floorboards whispered beneath my weight as I made my way towards my bedroom. Just as I reached for the door, a faint sound halted me in my tracks, a slow, dragging creak that sent a shiver down my spine. I turned to find the attic door ajar, a sight that sent a wave of unease through me. In the muted darkness, the attic door stood out, bearing the weight of years gone by, its weathered appearance hinting at hidden mysteries within its grain. Normally, I would have closed it promptly, seeking refuge in the known, but an inexplicable curiosity rooted me in place, tendrils of mist-like wonder weaving through my mind. The darkness beyond the open door was not impenetrable. Instead, it shimmered with a soft, silvery luminescence, moonlight filtering through unseen panes, casting ethereal shadows that danced as if alive. Against my better judgment, my hand reached out, drawn by an unseen force. The wood felt cool and surprisingly smooth, its layered history unfolding beneath my touch. Whispers of forgotten conversations, echoes of bygone movements. With each step towards the attic, the floorboards responded differently, their whispers more melodic, more akin to a gentle breath than a mere creak. Recollections of my grandmother's tales surfaced, her words painting a picture of houses with memories, spaces that transcended physical boundaries. A gentle breeze brushed against my skin, neither warm nor chilling, yet pregnant with anticipation, as though the very air held its breath. Crossing the threshold felt almost involuntary, as if guided by an unseen hand. Inside the attic, moonlight bathed the room in a soft glow, illuminating forgotten relics, ancient trunks, abandoned furniture, silhouettes pregnant with untold stories. Amidst the shadows, a solitary object captured my gaze, a small wooden chair, bathed in the moon's embrace, its position deliberate, as if recently vacated. Drawn towards it, I noticed the chair's age, its surface coated in a fine layer of dust disturbed by a faint imprint, as though someone had just departed. Silence reigned, yet it pulsed with a life of its own, an entity observing, listening. My fingers trailed along the chair's back, igniting a flicker of recognition, a memory just beyond reach. The chair felt both familiar and foreign, like a half-remembered dream upon awakening. In the distance, an owl's call pierced the night, causing the dust particles to swirl in a graceful ballet, as if in response. For a fleeting moment, the moonlight seemed to shift, teasing at forming recognizable shapes before settling back into stillness. A profound sense of not being alone settled over me, though this presence felt comforting, as if intertwined with the essence of the attic itself. The chair stood sentinel, the moonlight a silent companion, and somewhere on the edges of perception, understanding blossomed, bridging the gap between myself and the enigmatic energy of the space. Some enigmas, I realized, were not meant to be unraveled but experienced, felt in the depths of consciousness where reality and imagination entwined into something beyond comprehension. As I stood there, a part of the room's tapestry, I breathed in harmony with its story, an integral thread in the intricate weave of the inexplicable. Story 13. The day had been long and filled with the weight of worries, yet now the world around me was hushed, save for the soft hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Settling into the plush embrace of the couch, I absent-mindedly glanced at my phone, only to feel it vibrate gently in my hand. One ring, then another, and I saw that the caller was myself. Not a rush of fear, but a quiet curiosity washed over me, akin to spotting a mysterious shadow in a well-known room. Evening light seeped through the curtains, painting delicate patterns on the polished hardwood floor. The phone continued its silent dance, casting a faint rhythm against the coffee table. The air felt denser, pregnant with an unfamiliar presence. Above me, the ceiling fan whirred softly, a steady backdrop to the slowing cadence of my own heartbeat. As I gazed at the screen displaying my own identity, my own image peering back at me, I finally mustered the courage to answer. A moment of stillness followed, filled only with a soft, ethereal static, reminiscent of standing by the ocean's edge on a moonlit night. The silence held a texture, not empty but rich with hidden depths. Bringing the phone closer to my ear, I felt its cool touch against my skin. "Hello?" I murmured, my voice barely a whisper in the tranquil room. The response, when it came, echoed like a distant playback of my own voice, a familiar yet distant echo. The words were indistinct, yet the rhythm unmistakably mine. Sinking deeper into the cushions, my hand traced idle patterns on the fabric as the lamp in the corner bathed the room in a warm, pulsating amber glow. Outside, clouds veiled the moon, casting shadows that danced along the walls. The voice on the line grew clearer, but as if heard through a watery veil, speaking of moments from my past, slightly altered, like memories reshaped. Time unraveled, viscous as honey dripping from a spoon. The wall clocks ticking stretched and slowed, each second a languid whisper. The voice continued its gentle narrative, weaving tales of untraveled paths and choices yet to unfold. I found myself nodding along, drawn into a hypnotic trance. The room's temperature shifted imperceptibly, like a gentle breeze on a spring night. My fingers tingled where they cradled the phone, and the weight of an unfamiliar wedding ring lingered on my hand. The familiar trappings of my home held subtle inconsistencies, like a dream just out of reach. Speaking of the morrow, the voice shared secrets veiled in soft tones, drawing me closer to the prophecy of my own voice. Outside, the wind whispered through the old oak tree, a natural harmony to the voice on the line, blurring the boundaries between reality and reverie. The conversation wound down, a river finding its destined end. My voice, the voice, shared a childhood memory long forgotten, blooming in my mind like a time-lapse flower. With the call's end, I sat in the deepening night, the phone's weight a comforting anchor in my palm. 47 minutes had passed, yet my call history bore no record. Only the lingering warmth of the phone and the vivid memory of a childhood moment remained. Now, as the night envelops the world outside my window, the refrigerator's hum lulls me into a reverie. My reflection in the glass seems to lag behind, a mere trick of the light or a whisper of something more mysterious. The phone lies still, yet a flicker of light catches my eye, my name, my face beckoning once more. A silent invitation to a world where reality and dreams intertwine. Story 14. In the depths of the local library, I stumbled upon a forgotten alcove, drawn to a weathered tome nestled among the dust-covered shelves. Its leather-bound cover called out to me, and as I delicately thumbed through its brittle pages, a yellowed paper unfolded itself, revealing a map etched with enigmatic symbols. The scent of age and ink wafted from the parchment, weaving a tale of secrets long kept hidden. The map's intricate lines led to unknown destinations, hinting at a realm lost to memory. Seated in a plush armchair, bathed in the soft glow of afternoon sunlight filtering through towering windows, I delved into the mysteries of the map. Each stroke of the pen seemed purposeful, as if guiding me towards a revelation. Mysterious symbols danced along the margins, resembling ancient languages foreign to my scholarly pursuits. The gentle patter of rain against the window pane added a soothing cadence to my exploration, mirroring the contemplative aura enveloping me. Running my finger along the map's pathways, I noticed a peculiar warmth emanating from the paper, while the ink shimmered faintly in the dim light. Certain elements of the map seemed to shift and transform with each angle, revealing hidden complexities. Across the library, an ancient grandfather clock told the passage of time with a melodious hum, casting a mystical aura over the unfolding discovery. Its chimes seemed to breathe life into the luminous symbols adorning the map. Mesmerized by the convergence of pathways leading to a central compass rose, I felt an irresistible pull towards the heart of the mystery. Outside, the rain intensified, harmonizing with the library's old heating system as it hummed and sighed in response. The symphony of raindrops and creaking wood formed an ethereal backdrop to my immersion in the enigmatic map. As I scrutinized the map further, I discerned familiar symbols etched into the library's stone arches, previously dismissed as mere ornamentation. Quietly rising from my seat, I allowed the warm paper to guide me through the library's hidden passages, its gentle heat pulsating with each step. The usual sounds of the library faded into a hushed expectancy, amplifying the intrigue of my journey. Venturing into unexplored realms concealed behind rows of ancient tomes, I encountered woodwork adorned with the same cryptic symbols from the map. The air grew heavy with the essence of old books, intermingled with a hint of summer rain and distant thunder. As evening descended, the library's lights brightened, yet in this secluded corner, shadows danced in defiance, casting an otherworldly glow. The map, now aglow with hidden pathways revealed by shifting angles, led me deeper into the labyrinthine secrets of the library. Tracing invisible lines with my fingertip, I felt the room's temperature fluctuate, while shadows twisted in defiance of the steady light. The grandfather clock's chimes echoed like distant whispers, distorting reality with their hypnotic melody. What began as a casual exploration had transformed into a journey through time itself, unveiling glimpses of the library's bygone eras. As the closing hour drew near, I carefully folded the map, returning it to its rightful place within the book, marked by a library slip. The tome's blank spine bore a single symbol echoing the compass rose, a silent testament to the arcane connection between map and book. Attempting to check out the book yielded no trace of its existence in the library system, adding a layer of enigma to my newfound quest. Returning to the library under rainy skies, I discovered the book in ever-changing locations, as if beckoning me to unravel its secrets anew. Other patrons, engrossed in similar tomes, shared silent kinship, united by the unspoken allure of hidden knowledge. The library, once a sanctuary of books, now beckoned as a labyrinth of untold possibilities and revelations. In moments of solitude, rain tapping against the windows and the grandfather clock's mysterious chimes filling the air, I unfurled the map, letting its warmth guide me through the twists and turns of the shelves. Each corner turned held the promise of a wondrous discovery, a glimpse into the vast unknown. Perhaps the true essence of the mystery lay not in the map's destination, but in the journey it paved, a voyage through the timeless spaces between seconds, where time ebbed like ancient pages turning, and shadows whispered of uncharted realms waiting to be unveiled. In the library's mystical embrace, I wandered, forever on the brink of understanding something grand and extraordinary. Story 15. The soft buzz of the vintage radio filled the hush of my silent apartment. It had been untouched for years, yet there it was, emitting a gentle melody in the soft glow of the evening. As I reached to silence it, a voice, deep and familiar, broke through the crackling static. It murmured words known only to me. Nestled on my grandmother's cherished side table, the radio cast a warm reflection of light from my reading lamp. The night had been serene until then, with the rhythmic patter of raindrops against my window serving as a soothing backdrop to my solitude. I had been nestled with a book, swathed in the cozy embrace of my treasured blanket, when the first whispers of static pierced the tranquility. Initially, I thought I had accidentally nudged the table, activating the ancient device. However, I quickly dismissed that notion. The radio had remained silent since my grandmother's passing 5 years prior. It was retained solely for sentimental reasons, a memento of countless evenings spent listening to melodies while she knitted in her favorite chair. The voice grew more distinct, emerging from the static like a silhouette through mist. "I remember the butterfly," it murmured, so faint I almost missed it. My breath hitched in my throat. The butterfly, only my grandmother and I shared that secret. It was a fragile blue morpho that had alighted on my hand during her funeral. I had never disclosed the tale of how it had lingered there, perfectly motionless, until the final farewell was uttered. The rain continued its gentle serenade against the window panes as I sat immobile, fearing that any movement might shatter the peculiar enchantment that had descended upon my abode. The voice persisted, meandering through patches of static. "You still keep the origami birds in the shoebox under your bed." Another clandestine detail, the paper cranes my grandmother had taught me to craft, each one holding a whispered wish inscribed in pencil. I had guarded them from prying eyes. The gentle glow of my lamp seemed to pulsate in harmony with the static, casting shadows that waltzed across the radio's wooden exterior. A fragrance reminiscent of dried lavender and aged books wafted through the air, my grandmother's signature scent. The room's temperature shifted, becoming pleasantly cool, akin to the morning breeze in her garden where we once sat. The voice divulged more memories. The concealed key beneath the loose brick in her garden wall, the covert formula for her blackberry tea encrypted in her journal, her clandestine humming of Moon River when she believed no one was listening. Each revelation was akin to a gentle tide washing over me, unearthing memories I had tucked away in the deepest recesses of my mind. I found myself sinking deeper into my chair, my initial trepidation yielding to a profound tranquility. The static between phrases transformed into a soothing white noise, akin to ocean waves or wind rustling through trees. My grandmother's voice, now unmistakably hers, continued its serene soliloquy, with each word carrying the weight of shared recollections. Time seemed to ebb differently as I listened. The rain outside morphed into a distant melody, harmonizing with the voice emanating from the radio. My eyelids grew heavy, yet I struggled to remain awake, fearful of missing even a single syllable. The voice recounted summer afternoons in her garden, hidden trails in the woods behind her dwelling, tales she had left unfinished. As night descended, the voice began to fade, melding once more with the static. I yearned to reach out, to pose the questions left unasked, but something held me back. Perhaps certain enigmas are destined to remain just that, mysteries. The ultimate words filtered through clearly, akin to a moonbeam piercing through clouds. The most profound secrets are those that remind us we are never truly alone. Subsequently, the static dissolved into silence, leaving only the melodic patter of rain and the hush of my own breath. I never reactivated the radio after that night, but on occasion, when the rain falls just so, and the evening light caresses the wood grain of its cabinet, I swear I can discern the faintest whisper of static. In those fleeting moments, I recall that some secrets are meant to be safeguarded, while others find their own path to revelation. Story 16. In the attic, the scent of aged wood and dust enveloped me as I delved into boxes filled with forgotten treasures. Among the relics of the past, I stumbled upon it, the antique music box that once belonged to my grandmother. Despite its faded wood, the intricate carvings on its surface remained pristine. It had been untouched for years, its melody silenced. Yet, on a particular night, at the stroke of 3 a.m., The ethereal chimes of its haunting lullaby resonated through the stillness of my room. I recall that moment vividly, for I was wide awake, perched in my reading nook by the window, observing raindrops meander down the glass pane. The soft patter of raindrops had been my sole companion during yet another sleepless night. When the music commenced, it was so faint that I questioned my senses, hovering in that hazy realm between wakefulness and dreams where reality blurs. The tune was familiar, yet altered from my recollection. Slower, more deliberate, each note hanging in the air like thick honey dripping languidly from a spoon. The melody carried a weight of years gone by, of memories intertwined with emotions just beyond my grasp. Earlier that day, I had placed the music box on my dresser beside an aged photograph of my grandmother. In the dim glow cast by my reading lamp, the box cast a dancing shadow on the wall, its brass key untouched. I was certain I hadn't wound it, for the key proved too stubborn when I attempted to turn it. Rising from my chair, I felt the plush carpet beneath my bare feet, each step towards the dresser deliberate, unhurried. The aged floorboards beneath the carpet whispered softly with my every movement. The music persisted in its gentle serenade, a melody reminiscent of my grandmother's hums while she baked on lazy Sunday afternoons. As I drew closer, a peculiar sight caught my eye. It was the reflection of the box in the dresser mirror. The carved roses on its lid appeared to shift and unfurl in impossible ways within the glass. Yet when I glanced directly at the box, they remained motionless, frozen in their wooden elegance. An uncanny chill enveloped the air around the music box, sending shivers down my spine, akin to the coolness that greets you upon opening an old closet. As my fingertips neared the lid, the melody softened, almost hesitating, as if acknowledging my presence. Upon touching the box, the wood exuded warmth amidst the surrounding chill. Inside, the mechanical heart of the music box turned rhythmically, though the tiny dancer that once twirled with the melody was absent, broken off long ago. Yet, in the mirror's reflection, I glimpsed fleeting movements, a shadow pirouetting to the tune's gentle cadence. The fragrance of my grandmother's kitchen permeated the room, notes of cinnamon, vanilla, and the comforting scent of freshly baked bread. It defied logic, yet its presence was undeniable. The aroma mingled with the petrichor drifting through the open window, blending into a scent that stirred tears in my eyes. Standing there, witnessing the music box play its enigmatic melody, I felt the weight of memories pressing against my chest. My grandmother's voice seemed to whisper beneath the music, not in words, but in the essence of her voice, laden with the solace it always carried. Outside, the rain fell in harmony with the music, as if nature itself synchronized with the haunting tune. Time warped as I stood entranced. The clock on the wall remained frozen at 3 a.m., its hands barely inching forward. The music box continued its melodic journey, weaving a silk-like thread through the silent hours. I swayed gently, reminiscing about Sunday afternoons in my grandmother's kitchen, where she would dance while waiting for her dough to rise. As the melody gradually decelerated, it did not wind down like a conventional music box. Instead, each note dissipated into the air, akin to sugar melting into warm tea. The final note lingered, fading so imperceptibly that I could not pinpoint its end. The scent of cinnamon and vanilla waned with the music, leaving behind the pure fragrance of rain. The music box now sat silent, unchanged from when I first brought it down from the attic. The brass key remained motionless, catching the soft lamplight in its aged patina. Since that night, I never attempted to wind the music box again. On rainy evenings when sleep evaded me, I would find myself in my reading nook, gazing at the stillness of the box. The carved roses on its surface remained motionless, the brass key untouched. Yet, in the reflection of the mirror, at the periphery of my vision, I occasionally caught the roses slowly unfurling their wooden petals, accompanied by a familiar warmth that filled the air. I have come to realize that certain mysteries are not meant to be unraveled, but experienced, akin to the silence between musical notes or the pause between heartbeats. My grandmother's music box guards its secrets, and I keep my silent watch, anticipating those rare moments when the boundary between memory and reality thins enough for a lullaby to slip through. Story 17. The night's hush was broken by a distant, delicate tune. Nestled in my beloved armchair, a woolen blanket draped over my knees, and a cup of chamomile tea, now tepid, resting on the side table beside me, I glanced up from the book in my hands. The melody drifted like gentle snowflakes, almost ethereal yet undeniably present. It was the piano, I could tell, playing a piece unfamiliar yet oddly recognizable, like a faint echo of a long-forgotten dream. The house lay cloaked in darkness, the only light emanating from a small lamp casting a warm halo around me. Shadows waltzed on the walls, swaying to the tune of the mysterious music. Slowly, I stood, letting the blanket slip to the floor with a soft whisper. Each step on the wooden floor murmured as I drew nearer to the living room window. Beyond, the night lay still and serene. The full moon bathed the garden in its silvery glow, outlining the trees swaying gently in the nocturnal breeze. No signs of life stirred in the neighboring homes, all veiled in darkness. Yet the music persisted, seeming to emanate from all directions and nowhere simultaneously. I traversed the house, room after room, pursuing the elusive origin of the melody that shifted subtly with my movements. In the kitchen, it appeared to drift from the living room. In the living room, it seemed to originate from the staircase. On the stairs, the sound seemed to descend from the upper level. It was a hypnotic play of echoes and reverberations guiding me in a silent waltz through the familiar spaces of my abode. Upon reaching my upstairs bedroom, I noticed the door slightly ajar, though I was certain I had left it wide open that morning. Moonbeams filtered through the sheer curtains, casting intricate patterns on the floor. The music now rang clearer, more defined, as if I stood on the brink of its source. Pausing at the threshold, I studied the room intently. My ancient music box, a keepsake from my grandmother perched on the bedside table, gleamed in the dim light. I had never dared to open it, convinced it was broken. Yet now, in the quiet of the night, its petite ballerina twirled slowly, casting a shadowy dance on the wall. The melody it played mirrored the one that had beckoned me there, but amplified, as if the entire house had become a resonant chamber. Approaching with measured steps, I felt my heart pulsate in time with the music. The music box seemed to radiate a peculiar luminosity, its surface almost warm to the touch. The ballerina continued her pirouette, her once plain porcelain visage now bearing distinct features, familiar features. It was my grandmother's face, flawlessly replicated in miniature, her sweet smile reminiscent of my childhood. The miniature figure's gaze met mine fleetingly, and in that instant, the melody shifted, morphing into the lullaby she used to croon to me as a child. I stood transfixed, enveloped by the music like a long-lost embrace. No fear gripped me, only a profound sense of tranquility and longing. The notes swathed the room until gradually diminishing, like the ebbing tide. As the music concluded, the music box sealed itself with a soft click. Silence once more reigned in the house, but it was a silence pregnant with significance. Retreating to my armchair downstairs, I retrieved the fallen blanket, cocooning myself once more in its warmth. The book lay open to the page I had been perusing, but my mind strayed from the words. My musings fixated on the music box and my grandmother. I pondered how many melodies lay ensnared in those silent gears all these years, awaiting the opportune moment for liberation. Since that fateful night, on occasion, when the house grows particularly still and the full moon bathes the garden in its glow, a sweet, familiar melody suffuses the rooms. I no longer seek its origin. Instead, I close my eyes and listen, understanding that some enigmas require no unraveling to be comprehended. Story 18. The soft symphony of raindrops against my window was a gentle lullaby that accompanied my late-night writing rituals. Each droplet painted shimmering pathways down the glass, weaving an ever-changing tapestry of liquid light. The warm embrace of my desk lamp enveloped me in a soothing amber glow, while the rest of the room embraced comforting shadows. I found solace in observing the raindrops, tracing intricate patterns in their wandering trails. Occasionally, amidst my creative reverie, I would envision tales hidden within their crystalline journeys. Yet on this particular night, a subtle shift in their dance caught my attention. The water seemed to flow in mysterious ways, as if guided by an unseen force. Initially dismissing it as a trick of weary eyes, I allowed the rhythmic melody of rain to almost transport me to the tranquil threshold between consciousness and dreams. However, the anomalous patterns persisted, growing more defined as if whispering a secret message. The droplets avoided specific areas on the glass, forming dry spaces that slowly outlined a figure. Intrigued, I leaned in closer, and in the reflection, beyond the rain, I glimpsed the dim contours of my room. Yet, a peculiar detail caught my eye in my own reflection. A subtle delay, a fraction of a moment behind my movements. The rain's hushed cadence intensified, weaving a spell of enchantment around me. Mesmerized, I witnessed my reflection's hand reaching out to touch the glass, mirroring a gesture I had not made. The motion was fluid, ethereal, akin to a graceful dance unfurling a choreography unknown to me. A gentle warmth caressed my skin, a stark contrast to the chill near the window. Slowly, the features of my reflection shifted, evolving into something enigmatic yet strangely familiar. The eyes that met mine held a profound wisdom, an ageless gaze that transcended time itself. Immobile, I observed as my reflection underwent a subtle metamorphosis, transcending gender and age to embody a timeless essence. The rain encircled it in shimmering loops, defying gravity in a mesmerizing spectacle. A fleeting flicker in my desk lamp momentarily dimmed the room, and in that ephemeral darkness, a presence brushed against me, tender as a mother's caress. As the light steadied, my reflection reverted to mimic my movements flawlessly. Yet the rain persisted in its celestial dance, a testament to the extraordinary visitation that had graced me. In the ensuing hours, I remained by the window, contemplating the ethereal encounter, the lingering essence akin to a cherished melody. With the gradual ebbing of the rain as dawn approached, the window bore ordinary streaks of water, concealing the mystical display. Subsequently, on rainy nights, I found myself drawn to that window, abandoning pen and paper on my desk. In moments when the rainfall mirrored a perfect canvas, I caught glimpses of my other self gazing back through the glass. A silent understanding passed between us, acknowledging that some enigmas are meant to be felt rather than deciphered. The rain persisted in its descent, each droplet carrying the promise of another rendezvous. In the transient space between watching and being watched, I pondered whether in a parallel existence, another version of me sat by their own window, yearning to peer into my world through the silver threads of rain. Story 19. In the dim glow of my bedside lamp, the hallway remained shrouded in shadows. I lay in bed, fixating on the sliver of light seeping beneath my closed bedroom door. A figure drifted past, moving with deliberate slowness. My breath hitched in my throat. No sound accompanied its passage, no echo of footsteps. Summoning my courage, I peered into the hallway, but it lay empty, devoid of any presence. That encounter unfolded 3 weeks ago, and since then, the shadow has become a constant visitor each night. Its silent companionship has woven into the fabric of my evenings, a mystery I've come to accept without understanding. While the ancient wooden floors of my home serenade me with their nocturnal symphony of creaks and whispers, the shadow moves in seamless silence. Tonight, as raindrops patter gently against my window and the wind murmurs secrets to the trees, I find myself anticipating its arrival once more. The warm embrace of my bedside lamp casts a soft, inviting glow, cocooning me in a sphere of light that heightens the enigmatic allure of the darkness beyond. The fragrant lavender from my diffuser dances with the earthy scent of petrichor wafting in from the cracked window, creating a soothing ambiance. A ritual has formed around these nightly visitations. I brew chamomile tea, allowing its sweet, floral essence to envelop the room as I nestle into bed with a book. The shadow unfailingly materializes in the interludes between pages, drawing my gaze to the space beneath the door. Sometimes it lingers, a silent specter, while on other occasions it drifts past like a whisper on the breeze. What captivates me most is its responsiveness to my emotional state. In moments of anxiety, it moves with a calming slowness, as if offering solace. When tranquility reigns, it glides by like a leaf carried by autumn winds. Despite the inexplicable nature of its presence, I've never felt threatened by its existence. Recollections of my grandmother's tales surface, stories of houses attaining consciousness over time, absorbing the emotions and histories of their inhabitants. Perhaps this shadow is the house's way of ensuring my safety as I teeter on the edge between wakefulness and slumber. The nocturnal transformation of the house unfolds like a silent symphony. Moonlight bathes the wooden banister in a soft glow, filtering through the skylight above. The grandfather clock in the hall below keeps time with a rhythmic ticking that resonates through the tranquil rooms. The air itself carries a weight of untold narratives and boundless potential. Tonight, a shift disrupts our customary nocturnal dance. As I fixate on the gap beneath my door, the shadow appears, yet instead of passing fleetingly, it lingers. Minutes slip away, marked by the gentle ticking of my bedside clock. The shadow remains motionless, as though poised in anticipation. Driven by a compulsion I can't fully grasp, I address it for the first time. "Hello," I murmur, my voice a mere whisper in the night's hush. The shadow stirs, conveying a fleeting sense of acknowledgement, akin to a silent nod from an old confidant. The atmosphere in my room warms, enfolding me in a comforting embrace akin to a soft blanket. The flame of my scented candle flickers, though no breeze stirs the air. Despite my perusal of countless paranormal tomes detailing spirits and unexplained phenomena, none capture the essence of this experience. There are no icy chills, no foreboding dread, no cryptic inscriptions or objects in motion. Only the tranquil presence of this shadow, a sentinel of my nights. I ponder whether this shadow has always dwelt here, unnoticed until now. Perhaps it stood vigil over prior occupants of this abode, a silent guardian as generations traversed these spaces. Could it have awaited recognition all this while, yearning for acceptance into the natural cadence of the house? As I lie here, observing the shadow gradually dissipate like morning mist, a profound serenity envelops me. The rain maintains its gentle rhythm on my window, while the house settles with familiar creaks and sighs. I understand that come tomorrow night, and every subsequent night, my enigmatic companion will return. By day, I'll resume my routine, yet a part of me will anticipate the twilight hours, that juncture when I commune quietly with whatever traverses my hallway in the depths of night. I've ceased attempting to rationalize this phenomenon to others. How does one articulate a presence that offers solace rather than fear, enigma rather than trepidation? The shadow has melded seamlessly into my nightly rituals, akin to my chamomile tea and bedtime reading. As drowsiness beckons and sleep edges closer, I fixate on the slender beam of light beneath my door. The shadow glides past one final time, its passage so delicate it could be a trick of my mind. Yet I've come to recognize the truth. Within these walls, during the tranquil interlude between midnight and dawn, not everything demands explication. And so, lulled by the gentle nocturnal melodies of my abode, I surrender to slumber, secure in the knowledge that my mysterious guardian will revisit the following night, a silent watcher in the deep nocturnal hours. Story 20. The old, quaint antique shop exuded a captivating scent of weathered paper and aged wood. As I wandered amidst the shelves, my fingertips delicately brushed over the dusty book spines, each whispering tales of the past. Amidst them, one book stood out to me. Its cracked leather cover beckoned me closer. With a hesitant hand, I opened it, and there, on the first page, was my name inscribed in a script unknown to me. Outside, the soft pitter-patter of rain against the shop's windows played a soothing melody, harmonizing with the erratic beat of my heart. With each step on the creaking wooden floor, I gravitated towards a worn leather armchair, bathed in the gentle glow of a small reading lamp. The amber light enveloped me in a comforting embrace as I sank into the chair's familiar contours. The diary in my hands emitted an unexpected warmth, as if it had been anticipating my arrival all along. Tracing the faded ink with my fingertips, I noticed how some letters melted into the yellowed pages like murmurs waiting to be heard. The first entry, dated decades past, bore a striking resemblance to my own handwriting. The curves, the slant, all hauntingly similar. Strange how memories can slip between moments. Like shadows passing through doorways we never noticed before, the entry began, drawing me deeper into its enigmatic world. Outside, the rain's gentle murmur transformed, blending seamlessly with the narrative unfolding before me. The room held a perfect equilibrium, a sanctuary of tranquility that invited me to delve further into the diary's secrets. Each page unfurled a tapestry of inexplicable events, where reality danced with the impossible. Footsteps in empty rooms, reflections that defied logic, and unseen presences left me spellbound. I've begun to understand that time is not a straight line, but a fabric with intricate weaves and unexpected folds. A passage resonated with me, unraveling the mysteries of existence. The diary's contemplative prose led me through a realm of wonder, where known boundaries blurred into the unknown. As I journeyed through the diary's pages, the rain outside orchestrated a symphony of whispers, intertwining with the rustling of paper. The warm glow of the lamp bathed the room in a golden light, casting a spell of serenity over the ancient artifacts. Family ties transcending generations, shared memories flowing like rivers through time. The diary spoke of connections beyond comprehension. Faces in crowds that felt achingly familiar, a reminder that we are but threads in a cosmic tapestry, woven with invisible bonds. As twilight descended, shadows waltzed between the bookshelves, infusing the shop with a sense of enigmatic allure. The rain persisted, a steadfast companion in the nocturnal expanse. The diary's final entries delved into ethereal realms, dreams intertwining with reality, blurring the lines of perception. Hours slipped by unnoticed as I immersed myself in the diary's revelations, a profound sense of peace enveloping me. Between the realms of remembrance and imagination, I found myself suspended in a tranquil reverie, untouched by weariness or disquiet. With darkness embracing the room, I closed the diary, its leather cover retaining a comforting warmth in my hands. Outside, the rain's lullaby continued, a melody of uncertainty and solace. Some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled. Some stories are meant to usher us into realms of introspection and stillness. The diary lingered in my grasp, a conduit between the known and the enigmatic, beckoning me to surrender to the beauty of ambiguity, to find solace in the mysteries that enshroud existence. Story 21. In the beginning, I brushed off the notes as mere forgetfulness. A reminder on the fridge. Buy milk. Another on my desk. Lock the door. Simple tasks, things I could have easily written myself. But one fateful morning, a new note awaited me on my pillow. Wake up, he's inside. The gentle morning light seeped through my curtains, painting soft shadows on the walls of my bedroom. Holding the paper in my hand, I felt its delicate texture, worn yet familiar, as if touched many times before. The handwriting, eerily identical to mine, down to the curves of the letters, sent a shiver down my spine. This old house, my sanctuary for years, echoed with its usual comforting creaks and whispers. Every sound, every shadow had its story, its purpose. But lately a subtle shift had taken hold, like a painting slightly askew on the wall. The notes began appearing 3 weeks ago. Initially harmless reminders, I dismissed them as products of my own absent-mindedness. Maybe penned during those late, hazy nights of writing, blurring the line between awake and dream. Each day, a new note surfaced in unexpected spots. Beside the coffee maker, add cinnamon today. On the mirror, check behind the curtain. By the keys, take the scenic route home. The messages grew more personal, as if crafted by someone intimately familiar with my routines. Small changes in the house caught my attention. Books subtly rearranged, the lingering warmth on my favorite chair, scents from the past wafting through the halls. As I delved deeper, documenting each note in a journal, a strange realization dawned on me. The handwriting in the journal shifted imperceptibly, a subtle dance of familiarity and mystery. One evening, bathed in the amber glow of the setting sun, I pondered the notes scattered across the dining table. Paper from various sources, yet all bearing the weight of recognition. Patterns emerged in their timing, often appearing in the tranquil hours between night and dawn. Rustling paper would rouse me from sleep, leading me to yet another enigmatic message. The house seemed sentient, responding to my growing awareness with temperature shifts and lingering reflections in the mirrors. Conversations with empty rooms became routine, the notes serving as a silent dialogue between me and my unseen companion. Determined to unravel the mystery, I left a question of my own on the nightstand. Who are you? By morning, it was replaced with a chilling reply, you know who I am. You've always known. Now, as dusk falls and shadows stretch across the room, a realization begins to take shape. The handwriting, the intimate knowledge, the protective warnings, all signs of a truth I've evaded. Could these notes be from a hidden part of myself, a forgotten self waiting to be rediscovered? The house settles around me, its gentle creaks a lullaby in the growing darkness. A new note materializes by my hand, bearing a message I never saw being placed. Time to remember. In this moment, as I sit in contemplation, I feel a readiness to listen, to embrace what lies beyond the veil of forgetfulness. Story 22. The gentle rain tapped against the window, creating a soothing symphony that enveloped the room in a cocoon of tranquility. The air carried the earthy scent of damp wood, mingled with the comforting aroma of hot tea, lazily steaming on the desk. It was a night tailor-made for losing oneself in the pages of a book, surrendering to the lullaby of raindrops and drifting off to sleep without a worry in the world. But then, in the midst of this serene ambiance, 3 sharp knocks shattered the peaceful silence, each one resounding with clarity and purpose. My breath caught in my chest as I froze in surprise. No one was expected at this late hour, especially not on a stormy night like this. The aged armchair let out a soft creak as I shifted, delicately marking my place in the well-loved paperback with cautious fingers. The antique clock on the wall displayed the time as 11:47 p.m., its rhythmic ticking blending harmoniously with the patter of rain outside. Living on the top floor meant visitors were a rare occurrence, even during daylight hours, making the unexpected disturbance at my door all the more unsettling. As I sat motionless, straining my ears to catch any sound, the rain continued its melodic performance, accompanied by the gentle hum of the radiator. Perhaps it was just my imagination running wild, fueled by the eerie tales I had been engrossed in earlier. I settled back into the plush comfort of my chair, pulling the soft blanket snugly around my shoulders. And then it happened again. 3 distinct knocks, each perfectly spaced, reverberated through the room, their familiarity stirring something elusive in the recesses of my memory. My heartbeat quickened, not out of fear, but out of a curious recognition that teased at the edges of my consciousness, like a half-remembered dream. With slow, deliberate movements, I rose from my seat, the hush of my sock-clad feet against the wooden floor barely making a sound. The warm glow from the reading lamp cast gentle shadows that danced across the walls, adding a surreal quality to the scene unfolding before me. Approaching the door, I noticed a peculiar absence of the usual draft that usually whispered beneath the doorway, despite the storm raging outside. Placing my palm against the smooth surface, I was taken aback by the unexpected warmth emanating from the wood, as if it had been basking in sunlight all day, a stark contrast to the rainy night enveloping everything in darkness. Closing my eyes, I allowed myself to be enveloped by the sensory experience surrounding me. The delicate patter of rain, the distant rumble of thunder, and the subtle vibration of the door beneath my touch. 3 more knocks echoed through the stillness, softer this time, almost hesitant, like a gentle attempt to rouse me from my reverie. The warmth seeping from the door pulsed with each knock, spreading through my hand and up my arm in a comforting wave. A memory surfaced, a fragment of wisdom passed down by my grandmother about nights like this, when the boundaries between realms blurred. She spoke of benevolent visitors bringing forgotten truths, of doors leading to realms beyond comprehension. Standing there, hand pressed against the warm wood, I pondered the significance of this surreal encounter. The knocking ceased, but the residual warmth lingered, pulsating like a heartbeat, synchronizing with the rain now falling in a cadence that mirrored the earlier taps. In that suspended moment, time seemed to stretch and bend, the golden light suffusing my surroundings with an otherworldly glow. Every object in the room, from the books on the shelves to the steam rising from the untouched tea, exuded a soft luminescence that hinted at hidden mysteries just beyond reach. I made a conscious choice not to open the door that night, instead standing vigil until the warmth gradually dissipated and the rain resumed its natural rhythm. Returning to my armchair, I discovered that my tea remained hot, untouched by the passage of time, the clock stubbornly displaying 11:47 p.m., just as it had when the enigmatic knocking first disturbed the night. On subsequent rainy nights, a familiar warmth occasionally emanates from the door, a gentle reminder of that transformative encounter. Through these ethereal moments, I've learned to embrace the enigmatic aspects of existence, accepting that some truths are meant to be felt rather than understood, like a whispered secret that dissolves before clarity can be attained. The mysterious visitor never returned, yet a subtle shift occurred within me that night, unveiling a dormant facet of my being previously unexplored. I've since realized that certain enigmas are best left unsolved, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the delicate equilibrium between knowledge and intuition. The true enigma lies not in the identity of the visitor, but in the awakening it sparked within me. A newfound serenity that enveloped my being as I drifted into sleep, cradled by the gentle symphony of rain and the timeless rhythm of the ticking clock. And in those rare moments when the warmth returns, I find solace in the gentle mysteries that guide me into the realm of dreams, where uncertainties are but whispers in the night. Story 23. As the evening light faded, casting a warm glow across my living room, I stumbled upon a peculiar sight while cleaning up. Nestled in a forgotten corner, a patch of rich soil had emerged, cradling tiny green shoots that defied logic by sprouting in the dimness. The earthy aroma hung in the air, mingling with an eerie sense that this growth was not of this world. Curiosity mingled with unease as I bent down to inspect the delicate plants. Their slender stems swayed as if dancing to an unseen melody, drawing me in with their hypnotic rhythm. The soil beneath my fingertips radiated a gentle warmth, pulsating with a mysterious vitality that whispered of secrets untold. Days turned into nights, and I found myself captivated by the gradual expansion of this unexpected garden. Each morning unveiled new wonders, delicate ferns unfurling like emerald spirals, and blooms of an otherworldly blue that shimmered with an ethereal beauty. The air was perfumed with a sweet fragrance, evoking memories of long-forgotten summer evenings and elusive dreams. The very walls around the garden seemed to transform, taking on a pearlescent sheen that mirrored the enigmatic energy pulsating from the plants. In the quiet hours of the night, a soft, pulsing glow emanated from the corner, casting a soothing light that synchronized with the rhythm of my breath. Sleep enveloped me in a realm where underground gardens thrived, their roots glowing with silent communication. Reality blurred with dreams, and I awoke with the sensation of earthy soil lingering on my hands, a residue of a world beyond. Inexplicable events unfolded within the house, books unfurling to pages of ancient botanical wonders, houseplants stretching towards the burgeoning garden as if drawn by an invisible force. The room maintained a constant warmth, the air heavy with moisture that hinted at the garden's profound influence. One evening, a revelation unfolded before my eyes. The blue flowers released seeds that floated upwards, defying gravity with their ethereal dance. Each seed, a radiant mote of luminescence, sought out surfaces to settle upon, birthing tendrils that reached out in gentle exploration. The garden's expansion was not an invasion, but a silent dialogue, a bridge between realms that beckoned to be crossed. In dreams, I wandered through chambers of living artistry, deciphering messages woven by the plants in a language of nature. Weeks passed, and the room evolved into a sanctuary teeming with life. Vines cascaded from the ceiling, creating a tapestry of light and shadow that danced with unseen breezes. The air was imbued with vitality, each breath a rejuvenating elixir of pure existence. Isolation became my solace as visitors ceased their visits, unable to comprehend the metamorphosis unfolding within these walls. The garden, a sentient presence, mirrored my emotions, blooming vibrantly in joy and dimming in sorrow, its silent companionship a balm to my soul. Now, the house itself pulsates with a living energy, blurring the boundaries between reality and the unknown. Mushrooms sprout from floorboards, walls shimmer with bioluminescent waves, and the air hums with the gentle static of floating seeds. Embracing each transformation with a newfound acceptance, I surrender to the mystery that enfolds me, letting it weave its tendrils around my consciousness. The garden's song echoes through the night, a melodic harmony that speaks of growth and rebirth, of worlds intertwined in silent communion. In this evolving tapestry of existence, I find peace in being both witness and participant in a quiet, beautiful invasion of the ordinary by the extraordinary. The garden's expansion mirrors my own, a symbiotic dance of growth and discovery, a testament to the intricate wonders of the unseen forces that guide us. And so I remain here, a custodian of this living sanctuary, a humble steward of the enigmatic gateway that has chosen my living room as its vessel. In the gentle whispers of the night, I hear the garden's invitation to embrace the unknown, to revel in the unfolding mystery that envelops me in its silent embrace. Story 24. The gentle glow of the TV screen bathed the dim room in a soft, pale light. I had drifted off while watching an old movie, and now the screen lay dormant, a void of blackness, or so I thought. Suddenly a flicker disrupted the darkness, an image appearing grainy and distorted. It displayed a live feed of a bedroom, my bedroom. And there, at the foot of my bed, stood a figure. Frozen in place on my living room couch, I held my breath, captivated by the scene unfolding before me. The figure on the screen remained motionless, a dark silhouette outlined by the moon's soft beams seeping through my bedroom window. The quality of the image resembled ancient security footage, slightly fuzzy with a greenish tint that lent an ethereal and peculiar air to everything it captured. The sound of rain tapping against the window panes filled the room, a gentle white noise that added to the surreal ambiance. Amidst the quiet, I could discern the house's settling creaks, the whisper of wind sneaking through the window crevices, and the steady thump of my own heartbeat. What truly unsettled me was not just the presence of the figure, but the impossible perspective of the footage. It seemed to emanate from my closed bedroom door, a door I habitually shut before retiring for the night. I had drifted off while watching an old film noir, the TV remote still loosely grasped in my hand. I pressed the power button in vain. The image persisted, unmoving and resolute. The figure in my bedroom made a subtle shift, revealing something peculiar. Their movements flowed unnaturally, akin to water, smooth and continuous. The rain outside intensified, its patter creating a soothing backdrop to this otherworldly tableau. The air grew heavy with the scent of petrichor wafting in through the cracked window, mingling with the familiar fragrance of aged books and wooden furnishings that defined my abode. I felt drawn into the screen, ensnared by its mystique. The figure commenced a graceful movement, not towards the bed but to my dresser, where my grandmother's antique music box rested. With deliberate elegance, they extended their hand and wound the mechanism. Even through the TV's speakers, the tinkling melody began to play, a lullaby from my childhood sung by my grandmother. The sound was crisp, as though the music emanated beside me, despite knowing the music box resided upstairs, concealed behind a shut door. The melody intertwined with the rain, forging an oddly tranquil ambiance amidst the peculiarity of the moment. Entranced, I observed as the figure swayed in rhythm to the lullaby, their motions hypnotic and eerily familiar. As the music played on, I detected subtle discrepancies in the room. The arrangement of books on my shelf formed patterns unknown to me. The old rocking chair shifted without a breath of wind, and moonlight cast whimsical shadows that defied logic. Gradually, the figure turned to face the TV screen, facing me. Though their features remained obscured by shadow, I harbored no fear. Instead, a profound sense of recognition enveloped me. Their stance, the subtle tilt of their head, the gentle sway of their movements, all felt intimately familiar, akin to stumbling upon a forgotten photograph of oneself. My eyelids grew heavy as the lullaby persisted, the rain a soothing symphony, and the figures danced, transforming into a dreamlike reverie. The boundary between the TV screen and reality blurred, the static merging with the obscurity of my living room. Upon reopening my eyes, sunlight poured through the windows, the TV screen now truly dark. Ascending to my bedroom, my grandmother's lullaby echoed in my mind. Everything appeared as I had left it the night before, almost. On my dresser, the music box stood ajar, its mechanism unspun as if it had played throughout the night. On sleepless nights, I find myself seated before that TV once more, anticipating. Rain invariably falls during these nights, and occasionally, just occasionally, amidst the static and shadows, I glimpse a familiar figure, dancing to a melody existing between memory and dream. I no longer power off the TV. Could I, even if I desired to? More than that, I am unsure if I wish to. There is solace in knowing that, within that grainy, implausible feed, a fragment of myself continues to dance to my grandmother's lullaby, safeguarding memories that resist fading into obscurity. Story 25. The hotel's sign shimmered with a gentle, almost otherworldly glow on that misty night. As I approached, the doorman greeted me with a subtle smile, and the air was thick with the fragrance of aged wood and polished wax as I stepped into the lobby. My room, though simple, cradled me in comfort, and weariness from my travels swiftly pulled me into slumber. Upon awakening the next morning, I descended to the reception area only to find a void where the hotel had stood. I stood there, my bag hanging listlessly from my shoulder, gazing at the untamed grass swaying under the morning sky. The crisp air carried the scent of dew and wildflowers, a stark contrast to the refined atmosphere of luxury I had experienced mere hours before. My mind grappled with the disconnect between the reality before me and the vivid memories etched in my mind. Every detail remained crystal clear. The antique brass key, cool and weighty in my hand, the plush burgundy carpet hushing my steps as I navigated to room 247, the hallway adorned with golden leaf patterns that seemed to dance in the flickering light. My fingertips traced the spot on my wrist where it had rested against the mahogany desk while I signed the guest register. The leather-bound book, substantial and rich, the ink flowing effortlessly from the pen as I inscribed my name. The doorman's pale fingers turning the book to approve my signature remained vivid in my memory. The room itself exuded understated elegance, with velvet curtains framing windows overlooking a serene garden, linens carrying a hint of lavender, and a single rose gracing the bedside table. The soft sounds of the vintage radiator and the old clock ticking on the mantel lingered in my mind. Most haunting was the distant piano melody that had lulled me to sleep, unfamiliar yet achingly nostalgic, lingering in the realm between dream and reality. Hours have slipped away as I pondered my sanity, retracing my steps, questioning the taxi driver's existence, the street's familiarity. The brass key, with the number 247 etched upon it, is a tangible reminder that my experience was not a mere dream. Despite inquiries yielding blank stares and whispered conversations, the key remains, a silent witness to a reality that defies explanation. Night after night, the scent of polished wood and leather fills my senses as I drift into slumber, the elusive piano notes whispering on the edge of my consciousness. The key rests on my bedside table, occasionally seeming to glow with an ethereal light, as if longing to unlock a door that no longer exists. Though tempted to discard it, an unseen force halts my hand. Perhaps one misty evening, the hotel's sign will beckon me once more, the doorman waiting with his enigmatic smile. Until then, I hold on to the key, pondering the fleeting existence of a hotel that housed guests only in memory, each bearing their own brass key to rooms lost in time. Story 26. Driving down a remote country road in the early hours, a thick, swirling fog suddenly enveloped me. Amid the damp hush, a soft voice whispered my name with an uncanny familiarity. That sound, carried on the moist breeze, echoed hauntingly clear. The fog closed in from all sides, feeling almost sentient, as if it harbored secrets waiting to be unveiled. I eased off the gas, letting my car glide forward at a leisurely pace. The headlights cast a gentle, diffused glow, causing the fog to pulse with an inner light. Each breath I took filled my lungs with crisp, mist-laden air, carrying the sweet, earthy fragrance of wet grass and morning dew. The cool touch of the leather steering wheel under my fingertips guided me through this otherworldly scene. The whispers persisted, neither growing louder nor softer, striking a delicate balance between clarity and obscurity. They stirred memories of a distant past, a faint echo of something or someone just beyond my grasp. I found myself drawn deeper into the fog's embrace, drifting through recollections of childhood summers and autumn evenings. The road ahead vanished into the white abyss, prompting me to rely on instinct more than sight. Time stretched out, each moment elongating like honey dripping from a spoon. The soft hum of the engine served as a soothing backdrop to the whispers, now seeming to emanate from all directions. They spoke in a language almost familiar, like overhearing a conversation through a thin wall, understandable yet elusive. Strange patterns emerged in the fog as I drove, subtle swirls and eddies that trailed my car, reminiscent of smoke spiraling from a snuffed candle, dancing with purposeful elegance. These shapes seemed to inscribe messages in the air, but they dissolved before I could decipher them, leaving behind mere hints of meaning. The interior of my car gradually grew colder, my breath forming delicate clouds that mingled with the surrounding mist. The fog caressed my windows like gentle hands, leaving tiny droplets that traced winding paths down the glass. Each droplet captured and reflected the faint light, crafting a constellation of miniature stars around me. Through the mist, shadowy figures by the roadside caught my eye. Old fence posts, perhaps, or trees. Yet as I passed them, they morphed and shifted, assuming forms that stirred distant memories. One shadow resembled my grandmother's rocking chair, another the old windmill behind our family homestead. But I knew these apparitions couldn't be real. That house and all within it had faded into the mists of time long ago. The whispers grew more defined, though their gentle cadence remained unchanged. They recounted forgotten vows and unfinished dialogues, moments suspended in the fabric of time. I recognized the voices, a chorus of those I had lost throughout the years, their words blending into a soft symphony of remembrance. My watch had ceased its ticking at some point, its hands frozen in place, yet I felt no concern. Time seemed inconsequential in this liminal realm between the tangible and the ethereal. The fog swirled around my car, forming intricate patterns that hinted at significance beyond my grasp. It was as if the mist itself sought to convey a profound message, one to be felt rather than understood. The road beneath my wheels underwent a transformation, no longer rough asphalt, but a smoother surface akin to the dirt path leading to my childhood abode. The fog parted slightly, revealing glimpses of tall grass swaying in an unseen breeze. Sprouting by the roadside were small flowers, their hues muted yet visible through the mist. Purple and white blooms reminiscent of those my mother used to gather for her kitchen table. The whispers evolved into a soothing lullaby, familiar yet enigmatic, comforting yet enshrouded in mystery. They spoke of cyclical journeys and endings that looped back to beginnings. A smile graced my lips, its origin elusive. The fog drew nearer, its chill touch gentle against my skin through the cracked window. I realized that fear had dissipated, if it had ever truly gripped me. The fog that whispered my name was not a stranger but an old companion, a custodian of memories and guardian of forgotten moments. Perhaps it had awaited my arrival, or I had awaited its embrace. The distinction seemed inconsequential now. The path ahead remained veiled, the fog maintaining its ethereal dance around my vehicle. Nevertheless, I pressed onward, guided by the whispers and the subtle tug of recollection. I had come to understand that profound truths often lurk not in moments of clarity, but in the soft, swirling veils of uncertainty. And as I ventured further into the fog that held my name, I grasped that certain queries are best left as whispers in the mist. Story 27. The atmosphere was heavy with the fragrance of moist earth and dew-kissed leaves. Above me, the branches swayed gently, allowing strands of golden sunset to filter through the canopy. I strolled along a narrow path, captivated by the distant melody of a bird. But then, without warning, the song ceased. It was then that I realized the path had vanished into thin air. I stood motionless, inhaling the ancient breath of the forest. The moss beneath my feet felt like velvet, each step descending softly into its embrace. The evening light bathed everything in a warm amber glow, yet a subtle shift had occurred. The shadows elongated, extending like gentle fingers across the forest floor. My footsteps echoed silently as I continued forward, driven by an unknown force. The forest had metamorphosed around me, assuming an ethereal quality I had never encountered before. The trees stood taller, their bark shimmering with ever-changing patterns that eluded my direct gaze. White flowers sprinkled the ground, their petals softly aglow in the fading light. The temperature gradually dropped, accompanied by a delicate mist that draped the tree trunks like silk veils. Somewhere in the distance, water murmured, its source seemingly omnipresent. A sweet, unfamiliar scent wafted through the air, evoking memories of honey and ancient tomes. As I advanced, I began to discern small stones arranged in intricate designs. They formed perfect circles and spirals, each stone meticulously placed. Some bore delicate etchings, while others emitted a faint inner light. Though tempted to touch one, an inexplicable instinct held me back. They belonged precisely where they lay. The forest thickened, yet grew brighter. The mist now possessed a luminescent quality, casting a soft, pearl-like radiance. I passed through clearings where the grass murmured enigmatic secrets beyond my comprehension, and where mushrooms fashioned rings mirroring the celestial constellations above. Despite the thick canopy obscuring the sky, an intuitive sense assured me the patterns aligned. Time flowed like honey, its passage indeterminate. I could not discern how long I had been wandering. Minutes and hours bore the same weight. My watch had ceased its ticking, the hands seemingly reversing when not under direct scrutiny. The crystal face had fogged over, crafting intricate frost-like patterns that constantly shifted. A small stream crossed my path, defying gravity as it flowed uphill. Its crystalline waters reflected nothing, my image absent when I peered into it. Faint lights danced beneath the surface, akin to stars imprisoned in flowing crystal. The stream emitted a sound both familiar and alien, like music played in reverse, yet retaining its inherent beauty. Occasionally, movements flickered at the edge of my vision, gentle shifts in the air, as if the very space around me was breathing. Figures indistinct yet purposeful seemed to walk parallel to my route, just beyond clear sight. They pursued their own endeavors, paying me no heed, akin to commuters in a bustling train station. The moss underfoot shaped intricate patterns, spirals and waves radiating from each footfall, softly glowing before vanishing. It was as though the forest chronicled my journey, only to erase it swiftly thereafter. The air thickened with minuscule points of light, akin to dust motes caught in sunbeams, yet animated with intention, forming and reforming into almost recognizable shapes. I found myself in a vast clearing where mist swirled in geometric precision. At its heart stood an ancient tree, its trunk contorted into impossible configurations. Branches extended skyward before curving gracefully back to the earth, creating a natural sanctuary. The leaves shifted hues with every breath I drew, transitioning through shades beyond naming. Approaching the tree, I discerned writing etched into its bark. Unfamiliar in any known language, yet the words brushed against my mind like butterfly wings, conveying tales of wanderers, epochs, and realms existing in the interstices of heartbeats. Night descended, yet darkness did not follow. Instead, the forest bathed in a soft, silver twilight emanating from all directions simultaneously. The air thrummed with a gentle vibration synchronized with my heartbeat, or perhaps my heartbeat with it. Fear had dissipated. How could it persist in a place so eerily familiar yet wholly alien? I remain here, transcribing these words in a journal discovered in my pocket, although I bear no recollection of bringing one. The ink ascends from the page to form letters, defying gravity, as if guided by unseen hands. I am not lost, truly. I am precisely where I am, even if the exact location eludes me. The forest comprehends, and in that understanding, I find solace. The bird's melody eludes me, yet new music finds me, harmonies that taste of moonlight and melodies that caress like autumn leaves. Perhaps I shall pursue those melodies next, or perhaps I shall linger here where the inconceivable feels natural and time flows akin to water through cupped palms. After all, being lost only holds significance when the pursuit of being found persists. Story 28. In my cozy study on a rainy night, the soft, soothing sound of raindrops tapping against the window filled the air with a gentle melody. Suddenly, a mysterious tune, delicate and otherworldly, began to weave through the stillness. It carried with it a blend of nostalgia and a hint of unease, as if whispering secrets from hidden realms. The ancient grandfather clock in the corner marked time with its rhythmic ticking, its pendulum swaying in perfect harmony with the enigmatic music. The warm glow of my reading lamp enveloped me in a circle of amber light, casting shadows that danced in the corners of the room. With my eyes closed, I surrendered to the ethereal song that seemed to permeate every fiber of my being. The melody ebbed and flowed like a gentle stream, shifting direction and intensity, drawing me deeper into its mysterious embrace. At times, it felt as though the music emanated from behind me, then from the hallway outside my study. Each note carried echoes of half-forgotten dreams, memories fluttering just beyond reach. The rain outside provided a natural rhythm to accompany the haunting melody, creating a symphony of tranquility and intrigue. Lost in the music's spell, I swayed in my leather armchair, my fingers tapping unconsciously to the unfamiliar beat. The melody seemed to transcend the ordinary, as if played on instruments of dreams and shadows, existing in a realm between reality and imagination. A subtle shift in the air drew my gaze to the old mirror above the fireplace. Its reflection shimmered like a pond disturbed by a gentle breeze, revealing a distorted version of the room. Shadows moved with a life of their own, pulsing in time with the enchanting music. As the grandfather clock chimed midnight, its resonant tones merged with the melody, creating harmonies that defied logic. Time itself felt fluid, malleable, as if guided by the whims of the mysterious song. Subtle changes unfolded in the room. Books leaned toward the music, shadows breathed in sync with the melody, yet a sense of calm pervaded the atmosphere. Patterns emerged within the music, fragments of lullabies and unfamiliar tunes weaving tales of forgotten memories and unexplored paths. The warm light of the reading lamp seemed to take on a liquid quality, casting dancing shapes that blurred the line between reality and fantasy. Lost in contemplation, I felt suspended in a timeless moment, enveloped by the all-encompassing melody that whispered of untold mysteries and unseen worlds. The rain outside fell in harmony with the music, creating a symphony of peace and wonder that transcended the ordinary. As dawn approached, the melody seamlessly merged with the sounds of daybreak, leaving behind a sense of profound transformation. The room returned to its familiar state, yet within me, something had shifted. In the quiet moments between night and day, whispers of the haunting melody lingered, a reminder of the ethereal songs that exist in the spaces between dreams and reality, waiting to be heard by those who dare to listen. Story 29. In the deep of night, a faint sound roused me from slumber, a delicate scraping that trailed along the walls of my bedroom. With trembling hands, I flicked on the light, revealing fresh brushstrokes adorning a section of my wall, an abstract masterpiece foreign to my memory. The strokes were precise, emitting a sharp, chemical aroma that clashed with the usual coziness of my sanctuary. I stood there, heart racing, pondering who had ventured into the darkness to leave behind this enigmatic mark. That initial night of discovery was just the beginning. Each twilight, as I readied myself for bed, I embarked on a ritual of inspecting my walls meticulously, gliding my fingers over their sleek surface, inhaling the lingering fragrance of fresh paint that materialized and dissipated like morning mist. The original design remained, yet subtle alterations would emerge. A new curve here, a deeper hue there, as if the artwork was gradually unfolding while I slumbered. My bedroom, once a haven bathed in soft lamplight, with old books lending a comforting aura to the shelves, now hosted a peculiar dance between the familiar and the mysterious painting. Shadows pirouetted across the brushstrokes, forming ever-shifting patterns as time slipped away. Sometimes, in the hush before dawn, I would awaken to find the paint seemingly damp, glistening under the ethereal glow seeping through my curtains. The hum of the ceiling fan provided a steady, soothing backdrop as I dedicated hours to studying the expanding artwork. Its gentle whir became a melody for my contemplation as I traced the intricate patterns with my gaze. The style bore a strange sense of familiarity, fluid motions that stirred distant echoes in my mind, akin to a half-remembered dream or a childhood memory lost to time. Gradually, I discerned further alterations within my room, books arranged in subtle formations, mirroring the wall's design. The throw blanket on my reading chair folded into geometric shapes that harmonized with the painted motifs. Even the morning sunlight cascading over my hardwood floor seemed orchestrated, elongating shadows to extend the artwork's reach beyond the wall. On a particularly serene evening, rain tapping a gentle rhythm against my windows, I stumbled upon a small wooden box precisely positioned at the genesis of the wall's design. Crafted from lustrous, dark wood, its surface bore intricate carvings mirroring those adorning my wall. Within, a set of brushes awaited, each tinged with the exact shades used in the mysterious artwork. The scent of paint underwent a metamorphosis, mingling notes of vanilla and cedar with the room's natural fragrance, birthing a perfume straddling reality and reverie. On still nights, whispers of bristles against the wall teased my senses, dissipating into the hum of home before full wakefulness could grasp them. Weeks drifted by, the artwork evolving gradually. What had begun as abstract forms now hinted at landscapes, distant mountains, forests, and waters that ebbed and flowed with the changing light. Colors deepened, aged like cherished photographs finding their essence. In liminal states between sleep and waking, fleeting movements in the painted scene would tantalize my vision, vanishing when focused upon. My bedroom had become a canvas alive with unseen hands. Signs of their presence lingered, a warmth in corners, possessions rearranged for aesthetic allure, whispers of herbal tea wafting in and out. Rather than fear, a serenity enveloped me, a sense of cohabiting with a gentle, creative energy. I left out offerings, blooms, stones, blank sheets of paper, all melding seamlessly into the room's evolving aesthetic. The paper would return with delicate sketches hinting at the artwork's next phase. As autumn approached, casting longer shadows in my room, the hues of the painting shifted to warmer tones. Rich crimsons and burnt oranges melded with existing patterns, crafting a perpetual sunset ambiance. The box of brushes remained, now bearing fresh drops of paint each morning, brimming with potential. The identity of my unseen artist eluded me, yet their essence had metamorphosed my bedroom into a realm of wonder, a place where reality and fantasy intermingled subtly. Even now, as I pen these words by lamplight, the gentle whisper of bristles against the wall serenades me, a reminder that within the gentle darkness, creativity flows like a tranquil river, etching its path in ways only the observant can truly grasp. Story 30. In the quiet depths of a late-night office, where the only company was the soft hum of fluorescent lights, a sense of stillness enveloped me like a gentle embrace. Routine led my eyes to the security feed, revealing an unexpected figure in the empty lobby, a man with my face, gazing up at the camera with a tranquil curiosity. As I peered closer, a symphony of raindrops outside began to play, casting a serene melody that intertwined with the whispers of the ventilation system. This mysterious doppelganger mirrored my features flawlessly, down to the smallest imperfections, a familiar scar, a subtle tilt of the head, a shared essence captured in the dance of shadows on the screen. The man stood motionless, a silent sentinel in his dark suit that echoed my own, yet with a subtle sheen hinting at a different reality. The ambiance of the office shifted as I traced the patterns on my desk, captivated by the enigmatic presence before me. Time stretched, bending the moments into an ethereal continuum where the boundaries of self blurred. City lights flickered through rain-streaked windows, casting ephemeral halos that danced with the rhythm of the storm. The man's outstretched hand, a gesture of recognition rather than threat, stirred memories of childhood innocence, of testing the limits of existence in front of a mirror. Driven by a primal curiosity, I navigated the familiar corridors towards the lobby, each step echoing like a heartbeat in the empty space. The green glow of emergency lights guided me, pulsing in synchrony with the anticipation building within. As I approached, the glass doors yielded silently, ushering me into a realm where questions hung heavy in the air. Face to face with my mirrored self, we shared a silent dialogue, woven with unspoken queries that had haunted us both. Shadows intertwined on the marble floor, merging and diverging in a cosmic ballet of light and darkness. In the hush of the night, we stood as reflections of one another, caught in a timeless embrace of duality. With each subtle movement, the line between us blurred, reality bending to accommodate our shared existence in this liminal space. The security camera observed, its crimson eye a distant sentinel in our enigmatic encounter. We were not mere mirrors, but variations of a theme, shaped by the currents of time and perception. The night deepened, casting us into a realm where boundaries dissolved, and the essence of self became a fluid concept. Who led and who followed in this intricate dance of identity and reflection? The answer eluded me, slipping through the cracks of understanding into the realm of the unknown. To this day, the mystery remains unsolved, a fragment of a dream lingering on the edge of consciousness. In the solitude of late-night vigils, I catch glimpses of movement in the security feed, a reminder of that enigmatic encounter. Yet, some secrets are best left undisturbed, drifting in the gentle current of uncertainty, where the line between reality and illusion blurs into a tapestry of whispered enigmas. Story 31. Once I strolled past the abandoned amusement park without a second glance. Yet on a misty evening veiled in fog, an unseen force tugged at me, drawing me back to its rusted rides and tangled paths. Amidst the decay, a solitary light glowed steadily from the heart of the park, pulsing in harmony with the peeling paint and creaking metal structures that surrounded it. Its hypnotic radiance beckoned me further into the forgotten realm, where the air carried a sweet essence, reminiscent of cotton candy and distant memories. With each step on the gravel path, the soft crunch beneath my feet harmonized with the gentle whisper of tall grass swaying in the evening breeze. Nature had begun its slow reclamation, with ivy embracing once vibrant attractions and moonflowers blooming amidst the echoes of laughter and play. Approaching the enigmatic light, I noticed details that blurred the line between decay and preservation. The nearest carousel stood frozen yet adorned with immaculately clean mirrors, reflecting the pulsating beacon in fractured patterns on the ground. The weathered horses maintained an eerie luster in their painted eyes, as if guarding secrets from a bygone era. The source of light, emanating from the park's central pavilion, revealed a Victorian-style structure with intricate woodwork casting elaborate shadows in the soft glow. Its rhythmic pulse resonated with something deep within me, syncing with my heartbeat, or perhaps a primal cosmic rhythm. Time seemed fluid in this place, where fog curled lazily around my ankles and distant sounds drifted as if through water. A distant music box melody whispered conversations of phantom park visitors and the settling sigh of metal structures. Lost in this nocturnal symphony, I found myself swaying gently, caught between wakefulness and dreams. Inside the pavilion, the light revealed a simple brass lamp atop a dust-free table, exuding a warmth that defied the desolation of its surroundings. Around it lay a collection of intriguing artifacts, a pristine leather-bound ticket book, a timeless conductor's hat, and a mesmerizing brass key. It felt natural to find these items there, as if they had been waiting for me. As I stood in the circle of warm light, a profound realization washed over me about places like this, existing in a liminal space between memory and reality, never truly fading away but transforming into a different kind of existence. The ticket book held entries spanning decades, some from the park's operational years and others from impossible future dates. Names beside entries seemed to shift and change like ripples on a pond. The conductor's hat, warm to the touch, concealed a sharp photograph of the pavilion teeming with life, figures moving subtly at the edge of perception. As night deepened, the beacon unveiled the park's extraordinary duality, abandoned yet alive, empty yet full, past and present entwined in a tapestry of mystery. With dawn approaching, the light dimmed not with distance but with the rising sun, returning to a dormant state. I left the brass key untouched, sensing it awaited the right moment, just as the beacon had waited for me. Since that mystical night, I passed the park daily, searching for the beckoning light. Occasionally I glimpse it pulsing softly through the mist, on evenings when the veil between worlds feels thin. The enigma of that night lingers, not unsettling, but as a gentle nudge that reality harbors hidden layers, patiently waiting for those who dare to follow an unexplained light into the unknown. Story 32, Lost in the Enchanted Woods. Strolling through a dense forest on a crisp, misty morning, a peculiar rustling caught my attention, disrupting the wind's usual tune. The leaves murmured secrets, guiding my steps along an unseen path. Eventually, I stumbled upon an ancient headstone, partially concealed by ivy and moss. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay, evoking a sense of the past beckoning to be acknowledged. Kneeling by the weathered stone, my fingers traced the faded engravings, feeling the story etched into its surface. The stone, smooth in some areas and rough in others, whispered of time's gentle erosion. A soft breeze carried the sweet fragrance of wild roses, their petals scattered like nature's tribute to the forgotten soul beneath. Morning light filtered through the canopy above, casting dancing shadows on the ground. The forest's symphony played on, distant bird calls, the crunch of leaves underfoot, and the gentle patter of water droplets. There was something peculiar about the headstone's placement. It stood alone, pointing towards a hidden path deeper into the woods. Following the trail marked by smaller stones, the temperature dropped as I ventured further. The whispering seemed to surround me, enveloping me in a mysterious embrace. Emerging into a clearing, mist swirled lazily around an ancient oak tree, adorned with relics from the past, old photographs, letters in weathered bottles, and personal mementos suspended from its branches. Each item told a story, weaving a tapestry of memories connected to the grave. The forest shared its secrets intimately, revealing a sanctuary where time intertwined with the present. As sunlight pierced through the mist, illuminating the artifacts, I felt a sense of belonging to this hidden world. Hours passed in the clearing, immersed in the echoes of the past. Fragments of letters and faded photographs spoke of love, loss, and the enduring cycle of life. The leaves whispered softly, a comforting backdrop to my exploration. With the changing light of afternoon, a golden glow enveloped the clearing, infusing it with a surreal warmth. Before departing, I hung my grandfather's pocket watch on a branch, adding my thread to the tapestry of memories. The whispers shifted, bidding me farewell with gentle sighs. The headstone, once seen as an end, now appeared as a beginning, a portal to a realm where memories lingered in the rustle of leaves and the soft light of dawn. I kept the location of the clearing a secret, a sacred place existing between reality and dreams. On quiet mornings, when the mist rolled in and leaves whispered, I knew it awaited the next wanderer, gathering stories, preserving memories, and beckoning with its enigmatic call. Story 33. The mattress cradled me in its soft embrace while the duvet cocooned me in warmth. A gentle light filtered through the curtains, and the rhythmic ticking of the clock soothed my senses. I inhaled the comforting scent of freshly laundered sheets, surrendering to the heaviness of sleep. And then, a subtle rustle disrupted the tranquility. It was faint, almost imperceptible, yet too close for comfort. Originating from beneath the bed, it stirred a dormant alertness within me. Years of solitude had honed my instincts to question every unfamiliar sound, but this one carried a different weight. It wasn't the usual creak of settling floors or the soft murmur of wind. It held a presence that thickened the air around me. Despite the intrusion, the bedroom exuded its usual sense of security. Shadows danced serenely on the walls, painted by the gentle glow of a distant street lamp. My collection of weathered hardcovers stood sentinel on the shelves, their spines forming a mosaic of subdued hues in the dim light. The vintage alarm clock's ticking persisted, a familiar lullaby that now seemed to punctuate each moment of heightened awareness. Another sound emerged, barely audible, a slow inhalation not of my own making, followed by an exhale carrying a hint of mint and an earthy essence. reminiscent of damp soil after rainfall. My fingers curled against the sheets, not out of fear, but of contemplation. While my rational mind sought logical explanations like the heating system or a stray animal, a primal instinct whispered otherwise. My hand drifted to the edge of the mattress, not to investigate, but to sense. The space below felt cooler, yet denser, akin to dipping fingertips into a liquid unknown. It evoked memories of childhood swimming lessons, of glimpsing solid yet fluid shapes beneath the water's surface. Time flowed with a peculiar elasticity, the clock's cadence unwavering, yet minutes expanding and contracting like shadows at dusk. I teetered between alertness and a meditative state, attuned to every subtle sound and shift in the ambient air. The enigmatic presence beneath me coexisted, neither menacing nor benevolent, simply existing alongside my consciousness. Throughout the night, nuanced details unfolded, easily overlooked in a more anxious state. The breeze caressing my outstretched hand carried traces of a floral fragrance, akin to night-blooming jasmine. Occasionally, a soft tapping sound echoed faintly, as if fingers drummed on wood from the depths of a well. As dawn approached, the darkness transitioned, the street lamp's glow yielding to the soft gray light of morning, accompanied by a shift in the subterranean atmosphere. The presence ebbed like a receding tide, leaving behind a residue of shared nocturnal awareness, a consciousness governed by alien rules. Summoning courage, I peered under the bed as daylight bathed the room, revealing naught but dust and shadow. Yet the space appeared enlarged, deeper, and the floorboards retained a residual warmth, at odds with the morning chill. On the farthest board, barely discernible in the dimness, lay a pristine handprint smaller than my own, formed not of dust, but what resembled morning dew. I left it undisturbed. Some enigmas merit preservation, existing in the tranquil realm between reality and fantasy. Each night, I now discern the companionable nature of the sounds below, the gentle rustle, the subtle breath, the occasional whisper of movement. I've come to accept that not all mysteries warrant trepidation. Some are present merely to remind us of the vast, enigmatic wonders of our world. The handprint reemerges each morning, unfailingly in its place, adorned with fresh dew. I've ceased attempting to decipher its significance, just as I've ceased questioning the newfound serenity that cradles my slumber. Certain enigmas are best left as gentle mysteries, floating in the ethereal realm between wakefulness and dreams, where the boundary separating knowledge from intuition dissolves into a beautiful, enigmatic haze. Story 34. The night was draped in a soothing silence, broken only by the steady rhythm of the train wheels caressing the tracks. Nestled in the rear car, I was cocooned in a gentle glow emanating from the delicate fixtures above. The air held a comforting warmth, and the swaying motion of the train conjured an almost trance-like state. Outside the window, wisps of fog pirouetted lazily in the darkness, morphing into fleeting shapes that dissolved into the night. In my solitude, or so I believed, my reflection in the window melded with the obsidian void beyond, hinting at an enigmatic presence observing from the shadows. The symphony of the wheels carried a hypnotic quality, akin to a mechanical lullaby coaxing me into slumber. It was then, amidst the tranquil cadence, that a peculiar anomaly caught my eye in the glass reflection. A shadow loomed behind me, a figure seated a few rows back. I couldn't recall anyone boarding, yet there they sat, a phantom in the periphery. The train pressed on through the nocturnal expanse, the whisper of the wheels murmuring tales of yore. With caution, I pivoted to steal a glimpse. The carriage basked in an amber hue, casting elongated shadows across vacant seats. The enigmatic silhouette I had spied remained motionless, draped in a cloak of darkness, their countenance veiled beneath a broad-brimmed hat. Time appeared to dilate as I scrutinized that silent specter. A weighty atmosphere pervaded the car, pregnant with memories foreign to me. The passenger sat in silence, an ethereal fixture of the train's essence. I feigned a stroll towards the rear lavatory, edging closer to the mysterious presence. Their garment, an abyss-like fabric, absorbed light rather than reflecting it, exuding an uncanny chill. A faint fragrance of lavender and aged parchment lingered, weaving a tapestry of intrigue. Passing the vacant seat occupied by the enigmatic traveler, I felt a temporal suspension. The train's clamor receded into a distant realm, as if from another dimension. A disquieting revelation seized me. Beneath the Stygian shroud, no breath stirred, no hint of life betrayed itself. Halting at the car's terminus, I hesitated, torn between advancing to the next car or retracing my steps. The corridor stretched infinitely, while dim luminance wove mesmerizing patterns on the floor. Upon glancing back, the spot where the mysterious figure sat lay barren. In its stead, an antiquated train ticket, aged to a sepia hue, lay in silent testimony. Quivering fingers retrieved the relic, its date marking half a century past, on this very day. The ticket exuded residual warmth, as though recently grasped. Returning to my seat, I cradled the artifact, a tangible vestige of an unearthly encounter. The train wended through the night, its melodic wheels offering solace once more. Beyond the misted pane, shadowy figures seemed to tread in tandem with the nocturnal journey, ghostly companions to the train's passage. As weariness enveloped me, I pondered how many had crossed paths with this spectral voyager on the final train of night. The ticket clutched in my hand stood as sole evidence of the surreal rendezvous, yet even it ebbed like a fading dream upon waking. The train bore forth its enigmatic secrets and spectral passengers, visible and unseen. Drifting into slumber, a trace of lavender and the echo of retreating footsteps lingered in the air, a haunting lullaby for the journey ahead. Story 35. On a rainy night, the city lights blurred against the slick pavement as I parked my car. The soft sound of raindrops filled the air, and amidst it all, I noticed a small, handwritten note stuck to my windshield. Its message was enigmatic, signed with a handwriting that sent shivers down my spine. It resembled my own. The note exuded a faint scent of dampness and old cologne, triggering a sense of familiarity that unsettled me. It simply said, "Meet me where light dances on water at midnight. You'll comprehend when you arrive." Beneath those words was my signature, flawlessly replicating every swirl and loop I had painstakingly crafted over the years. The paper felt fragile in my hands, as though it had traveled through time rather than just been left on my windshield. Driving home that evening, the note sat on the seat beside me, its presence almost ethereal. The rhythmic swish of the wipers on the glass created a mesmerizing pattern, and my thoughts wandered through a maze of possibilities. The lingering scent of that cologne in my car stirred elusive memories just out of reach. Back in my apartment, I placed the note on my desk and examined it under the warm glow of my reading lamp. The paper bore an aged quality, yellowed at the edges, carrying a texture that spoke of years gone by. But what intrigued me the most was a faint watermark visible when held up to the light, a symbol I had sketched countless times in my childhood journals. That night, sleep came in fits and starts, interrupted by the gentle pitter-patter of rain on my window. In my dreams, I saw reflections of myself moving through mirrors, each version clad in attire from different eras, passing notes amongst themselves in a silent exchange. Upon awakening, I found the note had transformed. The ink had subtly shifted, revealing a hidden message beneath the original one, only visible in the early morning light. Time is not what it seems, neither am I. The signature remained unchanged, yet now it seemed to shimmer with a subtle opalescence, akin to oil on water. The following day was spent in tranquil contemplation, observing the rain create intricate patterns on my windows. The world outside appeared to move at a different tempo, as if time itself was bending around the enigma of the note. My phone lay silent, though I could not recall turning it off. The clock on the wall ticked with an unusual resonance, each passing second elongated more than the last. As evening descended, the rain softened into a gentle mist, drawing me towards the small lake near my abode. The water's surface shimmered with tiny droplets, forming whispered secrets in concentric circles. Approaching the shore, I noticed how the streetlights cast columns of light onto the water, extending into its depths. Seated on a bench by the lake, the note now warm in my pocket, I inhaled the scent of damp earth mingled with that familiar cologne, growing ever stronger. A figure materialized in the distance at the water's edge, their silhouette blurred by the mist, motionless as they watched the interplay of light and water. The figure raised a hand in greeting, and instinctively, my own hand mirrored the gesture. Upon rising to approach them, the mist began to swirl in intricate patterns, forming ethereal doorways leading to unknown realms. The scent of cologne intensified, ushering forth a flood of memories, not of my past, but of moments yet to unfold. Instead of reaching the figure by the lake, I found myself back in my car, the note now bearing a fresh message. "You've been here before. You will return." My signature remained, but now I comprehended it was not a forgery. It was genuine, penned by my own hand in a moment I had yet to experience. The rain persisted in its gentle descent, enveloping me in a cloak of mystery. Some questions, I realized, were not meant to be answered, but to be lived, like the pause between heartbeats or the space between raindrops. The note found its permanent abode in my desk drawer, yet at times late into the night, I swear I hear the rustling of paper, rearranging itself into fresh messages. I still frequent the lake, observing the dance of light on the water's surface. Occasionally I catch glimpses of myself, uncertain if they are from the past or future, standing at various points along the shore. We exchange knowing glances without uttering a word. The scent of cologne lingers between us, conveying messages deeper than mere words could ever express. The mystery of the note remains unsolved, yet it has become a part of me, akin to a soft echo trailing my footsteps. In moments of solitude, I find myself reaching for a pen, pondering if, somewhere, sometime, another version of myself is receiving a note I have yet to write. Story 36. On a chilly morning, I discovered a mysterious package waiting on my doorstep. Wrapped in aged, yellowed newspaper clippings and bound with rough twine, it beckoned with an air of intrigue. Amidst the faded headlines and images, a delicate handwritten tag bore my name in elegant script. The package emitted a peculiar blend of musty paper and a faint metallic essence, hinting at a journey through unknown realms. My heart quickened with a mix of apprehension and fascination as I gingerly unwrapped the enigmatic parcel. The serene morning was punctuated only by the soft rustling of autumn leaves as I untangled the knots of twine. A delicate frost carpeted the earth, its crystalline surface whispering beneath my steps. Surprisingly, the package felt warm in my grasp, a stark contrast to the surrounding chill. As I delved deeper, my fingertips grazed over remnants of news stories from bygone eras, evoking a sense of nostalgia and mystery. Enclosed within layers of aged paper, I unveiled a small wooden box fashioned from dark, lustrous wood. Its polished surface exuded a timeless elegance, adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to shift and dance in the shifting light. Despite its modest size, the box possessed a weightiness that hinted at hidden depths, accompanied by a faint, almost imperceptible vibration that stirred the air around me. A simple brass latch secured the lid, embellished only with minuscule symbols resembling musical notes, yet unfamiliar in their arrangement. Tracing my thumb over the symbols, a distant melody echoed in my mind. A haunting lullaby carried on unseen currents. Settling into my favorite reading chair within the creaking confines of my home, I cradled the box in my lap. Sunlight cast ethereal patterns on the walls, their shadows seeming to gravitate towards the box, bending and twisting in defiance of natural laws. A palpable tension hung in the air, pregnant with the weight of untold tales waiting to be unfurled. With trembling hands, I lifted the latch, encountering a resistance that defied explanation, as if the very atmosphere grew dense with anticipation. The lid yielded with a soft exhalation, revealing a trove of objects that stirred a primal response within me. An aged photograph depicting a familiar yet subtly altered scene captured my gaze, its edges softened by time's caress. Beneath it lay a letter inscribed in the same graceful script that had marked the package. The paper, textured and fragrant with lavender and age, seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly light as I perused its contents. "My dearest friend," the words began, weaving a tapestry of enigmatic connection across time and space. The letter hinted at a bond transcending the linear march of days, offering glimpses of a shared journey yet to unfold. Amidst the missive, my attention was drawn to a pocket watch nestled in velvet, its spiral face defying conventional timekeeping with a rhythm all its own. As the day waned into dusk, I found myself ensnared in the allure of each artifact: a peculiar key of unknown metal, a journal scribed in my own hand detailing events unremembered, and a dried flower preserving the essence of bygone summers. Shadows danced around me, casting a spell of temporal dissonance, while the light filtering through the windows assumed an amber hue at odds with the hour. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, yet its cadence seemed unreliable amidst the shifting currents of time. Hours slipped away as I delved into the letter's revelations, its intimate knowledge of my innermost thoughts unsettling yet strangely comforting. Evening's approach heralded a curious revelation as the newspaper wrappings began to morph before my eyes, depicting events both future and past in a bewildering dance of timelines. The letter's parting words echoed through my mind. "Embrace the mystery, let it bloom like a spring flower. Time is a tapestry woven in shades unseen, and we are but threads within its intricate design. When the moment is ripe, you will know the path these artifacts reveal. Until then, safeguard their secrets and heed the signs that now beckon." Methodically arranging each item back into the box, I marveled as they settled into a precise configuration without my intervention. The latch clicked softly shut, its resonance a symphony of hidden harmonies reverberating through the room. Night descended beyond my windows, cloaking the world in shadow, yet within my study, a newfound awareness blossomed. The universe seemed to expand, teeming with enigmas waiting to be unraveled, bridging the gap between the known and the unknowable. As I readied for slumber, a glimpse in the mirror revealed a fleeting vision of myself transformed, garbed in unfamiliar attire, a cryptic smile playing upon my lips. In that ephemeral moment, I grasped the profound shift wrought by the enigmatic box now resting on my desk. Its faint hum resonated with the hidden symphonies of the cosmos, a soothing lullaby that whispered of unseen realms. And on occasions when I checked my correspondence, letters bearing that familiar script awaited me, stamped with dates yet to unfold, a testament to the timeless bond forged across the expanse of time's tapestry. Story 37. On a stormy night, as I rushed home through a deluge of rain, the world around me blurred into a watercolor painting of lights and shadows. In a puddle reflecting the neon glow of nearby shops, a solitary figure stood with a quiet determination. The silhouette, stark against the glistening water, seemed to lock eyes with me, its presence shrouded in mystery and poignancy. This encounter sparked a lingering question about who or what had been silently watching from the rain-soaked darkness. And so began a subtle haunting, a gentle enigma that enveloped my days. In the aftermath, I found myself irresistibly drawn to reflective surfaces: shop windows, car mirrors, the darkened screen of my phone. Each time, at the edge of my vision, that same figure materialized, serene and unmoving, like a frozen moment captured in time. Yet curiously, no fear gripped me. There was a strange comfort in this silent observer, akin to stumbling upon a forgotten photograph of someone elusive from memory. Clad in antiquated attire, a long coat and wide-brimmed hat, Though details always veiled in obscurity, the figure exuded an aura of timeless enigma. I started taking evening strolls, allowing my feet to lead me through hushed streets, while raindrops painted everything in shimmering silver. The air carried that post-rain fragrance, crisp, pure, with undertones of damp concrete and distant blooms. Sometimes echoing my steps, I'd detect another set of footfalls behind me, a tranquil cadence on the wet pavement. During one such walk, a peculiar discovery unfolded in the figure's reflection. While everything else mirrored in windows and mirrors, this silhouette remained untouched, defying the laws of light and shadow. Delving into the physics of reflections, I immersed myself in the study of optics and the essence of light. The soft patter of rain against library windows a soothing backdrop. The figure seemed intent on conveying a message. With each reflection, it subtly shifted angle, as if slowly aligning towards a specific direction. Like a compass needle finding north, it directed me to the old quarter of town, where ancient edifices stood beneath canopies of age-old trees. Following this silent guidance, I stumbled upon a quaint antique store that had previously eluded my notice. The door's bell chimed softly as I entered, stirring dust motes that danced in the warm amber glow filtering through rain-streaked panes. Among the cluttered shelves, I unearthed an aged photograph album bound in weathered leather, its pages tinged with the patina of time. Flipping through the delicate leaves, I caught my breath. There, in a sepia-toned image dated nearly a century past, stood the figure, no longer a silhouette, but a distinct figure in the rain. Clad precisely as glimpsed in Reflections, in a long coat and broad-brimmed hat, their countenance gentle yet watchful. According to script beneath, they had been a local physician who braved all weathers to tend to the ailing, a selfless soul who never shunned those in need. The album unveiled a tapestry of moments, the doctor tending to patients during an ancient epidemic, standing sentinel through tempests, traversing the same streets I now trod. Their demise in the act of saving others during a harsh winter was chronicled in the final pages, yet local lore whispered of their enduring spirit watching over the townsfolk. Now, as I catch sight of the figure in Reflections, I comprehend the benign intent behind their vigil. Remaining as they existed, a silent custodian in the rain, safeguarding those who navigate solitude in storms. On damp evenings, I sometimes catch whiffs of aged leather and medicinal herbs mingled with the petrichor, a testament to their continued rounds, ensuring all find their way home unharmed. This tale has remained untold until now, but on rainy nights I observe fellow wanderers slowing their pace by reflective surfaces, their faces softening into gentle smiles. I muse if they too have glimpsed the figure, felt the same tranquil presence in the rain-drenched obscurity. Perhaps certain enigmas are meant not to alarm, but to reassure that even in isolation we're never truly alone. The figure frequents my reflections, especially in tempestuous weather. I've learned to welcome these apparitions, these subtle nudges from a vigilant spirit that transcends time like rain through foliage. Amidst a world too brash and clamorous, there's a profound solace in sharing the quiet darkness with a guardian who opted to linger, upholding their eternal watch in the realm of raindrops and reflections. Story 38. As I awoke one cold morning, my window was veiled in a misty shroud of condensation, a mysterious canvas awaiting discovery. With a gentle swipe, I revealed a detailed sketch etched onto the glass, a solitary figure standing amidst a hazy landscape. To my surprise, the features of the figure bore a striking resemblance to my own, a mirror image in a world of fog and glass. The scent of aged charcoal lingered in the air, mingling with the stillness of the room. In the soft glow of winter light filtering through the fogged glass, I stood in quiet contemplation, clad in my night clothes. The wooden floor beneath me whispered softly with each step, its familiar creaks carrying an unfamiliar weight in the silence that enveloped the room. Tracing the outline of the figure on the window, I felt the cool smoothness of the glass beneath my fingertips, a canvas of secrets waiting to be unraveled. The intricate sketch revealed more than just lines on glass. It depicted a scene of bare trees reaching toward a cloudy sky, their branches weaving intricate patterns that seemed to shift in the corner of my eye. In the background, an old Victorian mirror stood, adorned with elaborate carvings, reflecting a world beyond the ordinary. A whisper of wind crept beneath the door, carrying with it the earthy fragrance of rain-soaked soil and autumn leaves, a paradox in the midst of winter. Distant wind chimes sang a haunting melody, their notes weaving a tapestry of time and memory that eluded my grasp. Intrigued, I ventured to my desk where my old sketchbooks lay dormant. Flipping through the pages, I discovered a series of drawings depicting the same figure, the same mirror, each dated weeks prior in a handwriting eerily similar to my own, yet subtly different. The quality of light in the room shifted, casting an opalescent sheen that seemed to emanate from the very window where the sketch unfolded. The lines on glass grew clearer, more defined, as if guided by an unseen hand tracing the boundaries of a hidden world. As I gazed at my reflection superimposed over the drawing, a revelation struck me. My mirrored self moved in opposite synchrony, a dance of duality in a mirror realm. The sketch was not merely a drawing but a portal, a glimpse into a realm beyond the looking glass. Details emerged with each passing moment, unveiling a key dangling from the figure's neck, identical to one lost in time, a forgotten heirloom from my grandmother. Each breath I exhaled fogged the glass, adding layers of depth to the scene, a multi-dimensional tableau unfolding before my eyes. The wind chime's melody grew more distinct, a familiar lullaby from my grandmother's past, weaving a thread of connection between worlds. Time ebbed and flowed, minutes blending into hours, as I stood transfixed by the unfolding mystery. Delving into my grandmother's old wooden art box, hidden in my closet, I unearthed a journal filled with sketches akin to the one on my window, accompanied by notes on mirror walking and doorways between worlds. The wind chimes serenaded me as I delved deeper into the hidden knowledge contained within. With the evening light softening, I sat in quiet reflection, alternating between studying the window sketch and absorbing the wisdom within my grandmother's journal. The drawing remained unchanged, a moment frozen in time, beckoning me to explore the secrets it held. Realizing that some mysteries are meant to be lived with, not unraveled in haste, I embraced the enigma before me, allowing it to seep into my being like a second skin. In the quiet of the evening, I sketched in my journal, capturing the essence of that transformative morning. As night descended, I knew that tomorrow the window would be clear once more, yet the space between reality and imagination had shifted, a subtle shift in perception that altered the very fabric of my existence. The wind chimes continued their ethereal song, a reminder of the thin veil separating the mundane from the extraordinary. In the early hours of morning, as condensation clouded my window once more, I caught fleeting glimpses of new sketches forming, new doorways waiting to be crossed. Yet it was that first drawing, that initial glimpse into a world beyond, that remained etched in my memory, a gentle reminder of the delicate boundary between the known and the unknown, the ordinary and the extraordinary. Story 39, The Enigmatic Room. The realtor had described the house as small but cozy, a perfect sanctuary for solitude. I roamed through each room, absorbing the essence of the space. Yet, at the end of the hallway, a door caught my eye, a door that had eluded my memory from the initial tour. A moment of hesitation preceded my hand reaching for the knob. The air within was musty, with a fine layer of dust coating the floor, as if untouched by human presence for an eternity. A soft autumn glow seeped through a solitary window, casting delicate shadows in a room that seemed frozen in time, an old study. A weathered desk stood stoically against one wall, its surface weathered with the graceful patina of age. The wood's grain danced in mesmerizing patterns, captivating my gaze as my eyes adjusted to the subdued light. A peculiar fragrance lingered in the air, not unpleasant, but redolent of ancient books and withered flowers. I felt inexplicably drawn to the desk, my steps muffled by the plush carpet beneath my feet. The distant melody of wind chimes drifted through the walls, weaving a tranquil symphony that whispered of a bygone era. Tracing my fingers along the desk's edge, I encountered faint indentations, intricately carved symbols forming an unbroken motif. Smooth to the touch, worn by years of hands retracing the same path. Night after night, I found myself drawn back to this mysterious room. A cozy chair, an aged leather relic unearthed from the depths of the basement, became my companion as daylight waned into twilight. Time within this space seemed to ebb differently, languid, contemplative. Occasionally, a book would accompany me, but more often, I would sit in quietude, attuned to the subtle murmurs of the settling house. On a particularly hushed evening, rain tapping gently against the window, I spied an anomaly with the desk drawer. Always locked, it now stood slightly ajar, beckoning my exploration. Within, a leather-bound journal awaited, its pages adorned with elegant script. Entries bore dates that meandered through time, skipping decades with a fluidity that defied logic. Yet the handwriting remained constant, untouched by the passage of years. The author spoke of the room itself, portraying it as a liminal space where time trickled like honey, sweet and unhurried. They chronicled the shifting seasons outside the window, recounting conversations with enigmatic visitors who seemed to exist solely within these walls. The entries exuded tranquility, contemplation, brimming with insights on light and shadow, on the palpable presence of silence. As days melted into weeks, subtle transformations unfurled within the room. The dust refused to settle, untouched by my hand. The quality of light filtering through the window often defied the external time of day. Once, amidst a tempest that rattled the rest of the house, this room remained serenely untouched, cocooned in a bubble of calm. The journal entries began to weave a coherent tapestry. I penned my own observations, interweaving them with the enigmatic author's musings. Sometimes, revisiting my prior entries, I noticed subtle shifts, words rearranged, dates in flux. Yet rather than unsettle me, it felt harmonious, as though the room itself gently curated our shared narrative. Most intriguing was the window. From the exterior, the wall appeared solid, devoid of any aperture. Yet within this space, the window persisted, offering vistas that subtly morphed when glanced away. The garden it overlooked mirrored the one behind the house, but with subtle discrepancies. Blossoms blooming out of season, shadows cast in improbable angles. I divulged not a word of this room to the realtor or my guests. It held an air of intimacy, a sanctum crafted for those in need. The original blueprints, unearthed from the local archives, bore no trace of it, as if it materialized at the behest of an architect, cognizant of the necessity for a haven where time flowed differently, where thoughts unfurled at their own pace. Now, as I pen this testament, I ponder the predecessors who stumbled upon this enigmatic chamber, each contributing to its aura of tranquil enigma. The journal alludes to many before me, hinting at many still to come. The room feels like a collective secret, bequeathed through generations of silent voyagers. The sun dips below the horizon now, or so the light filtering through the window implies. I've noticed that the timepiece on my wrist loses relevance within these walls. Perhaps that's the room's essence, a haven where the relentless march of minutes and hours fades into a gentler, more forgiving rhythm. I remain baffled by this space, this realm that straddles existence within and beyond the house. Yet I've grown to cherish that certain enigmas need not be deciphered. Sometimes they must simply be embraced, lived within. In a world that hurtles forward, perhaps we all crave a space uncharted on the blueprints, a sanctuary where time warps and stretches, where dust never settles, and where the ethereal light through an impossible window beckons us to simply exist. Story 40. In the attic, a forgotten drawer revealed a small key ring adorned with ornate antique keys. Each key held intricate designs, shimmering in the dim light with a magnetic allure. Unmarked and mysterious, they hinted at hidden doors and untold secrets. The attic was steeped in a charged silence, as if the keys themselves were gatekeepers of a long-lost enigma. Sunlight filtered through dusty windows, casting dancing shadows on the wooden floor, creating a mesmerizing display. Seated on the floor, I traced my fingers over each key's unique patterns. One key boasted delicate floral vines, another showcased celestial-like geometric shapes, and a smaller key displayed tiny musical notes etched into its surface. Despite their age, the keys gleamed with a golden brilliance, untouched by tarnish, emitting a subtle, pulsating glow in the darkness. Holding them felt oddly familiar yet foreign, like grasping memories of another's past. That night, I brought the keys to my study, placing them beside a cup of chamomile tea, releasing a calming aroma of honey and herbs. Outside, rain tapped gently on the window, a soothing rhythm. While sketching the keys, I noticed a shift in the room's ambiance. The warm glow of the lamp played tricks on the keys, altering their appearance with each glance. Sometimes a faint melody, reminiscent of a distant music box, echoed when I touched the musical key, vanishing when I focused on it. Days passed, consumed by an obsession with the keys. I delved into antique lock mechanisms, key-making craftsmanship, and historical inquiries. Yet, it was the dreams that captivated me most. Each night I wandered through endless corridors lined with whispering doors, none aligning with the keys in my possession. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a revelation struck. Arranging the 7 keys in a specific pattern unveiled a celestial constellation, familiar yet elusive. The air thickened with potential as wind chimes chimed softly, though no chimes existed nearby. The symphony of sounds responded to the keys' presence, creating an ethereal atmosphere. Shadows cast by the keys defied logic, resembling ancient scripts or forgotten languages, shifting when touched, evading comprehension. As time passed, evenings were spent with the keys, unveiling more mysteries. The celestial key warmed under the full moon, the floral key shimmered and twisted during rain, and time itself seemed to warp in their presence. An hour could stretch into eternity, filled with wonder and contemplation. The key's purpose remained elusive, their origin and intended doors a mystery. Perhaps they weren't meant to unlock physical barriers, but to open mental passageways of imagination and wonder. Resting in their velvet box, the keys shimmered mysteriously, inviting endless exploration and holding tightly to their enigmatic secrets. Their presence in the quiet evenings was a comforting reminder that some questions are best left unanswered, and some mysteries are more alluring when left unexplored. In the hushed moments between twilight and dreams, the keys stood as silent guardians of untold truths, offering a glimpse into the infinite realms of imagination and the beauty of the unknown. Story 41. The Whispering Theater. Drawn by an unexplainable urge to explore, I found myself wandering into an old theater on the outskirts of town. Once a grand spectacle, now draped in decay, it stood as a silent witness to bygone eras of applause and drama. Ornate balconies and velvet seats whispered tales of a time long past as I stepped onto the creaking stage. A soft, echoing voice filled the air, carrying with it a mix of sorrow and longing in its recitation. The words reverberated off the time-worn walls, blending with the musty scent of aged curtains and forgotten dreams. It made me question if the theater was truly devoid of life. The gentle autumn breeze crept through unseen crevices, creating a delicate symphony of rustling papers and faint whispers that seemed to echo from a distant past. My footsteps echoed softly on the wooden stage, each board releasing a sigh under my weight. The air held a peculiar thickness, as if I were wading through layers of memory suspended in time. Above me, the grand chandelier hung still and silent, its crystals coated in dust, but occasionally catching glimmers of light that filtered through the high windows, casting delicate patterns on the walls. My curiosity led me to the wing of the stage, where forgotten props lay shrouded in sheets, resembling gentle waves in the dim light. The voice, now a mere whisper, seemed to emanate from this direction. Among the relics, I stumbled upon an ancient dressing room mirror, its surface clouded with age yet radiating an otherworldly gleam. As I drew nearer, the temperature dropped, sending a shiver down my spine, though not unpleasantly so. The mirror seemed to pulse with an inexplicable energy, reflecting movements that were not my own, shadows of performers long gone, still perfecting their art. The voice, now clearer, belonged to a woman, her melodic recitation carrying a soothing yet melancholic quality. Time warped within those walls, minutes stretching into hours as I unearthed relics of the past, crumbling playbills and costume pieces that held faint traces of perfume. The voice guided me through forgotten corners of the theater, leading me to the orchestra pit where sheet music lay scattered on ancient stands, their notes faded but still visible, as if awaiting the return of musicians to breathe life into them once more. As evening descended, the shifting light through the windows cast elongated shadows that seemed to dance purposefully across the seats. The voice grew stronger, never rising above a gentle murmur. I found myself seated in a well-preserved velvet chair, watching dust motes dance in the dying sunlight. The theater seemed to pulse with life around me, its walls expanding and contracting with the weight of countless stories. In that moment of tranquility, I realized that the voice was not addressing anyone in particular. It was the theater itself, reminiscing. Each word carried echoes of performances past, weaving a delicate tapestry of nostalgia that enveloped me entirely. Night fell, and the darkness brought a new dimension to the voice, resonating with a warmth that made the air hum with energy. The words grew clearer, yet remained elusive in their meaning, like a fading dream upon waking. The chandelier above caught the moonlight, casting rainbow refractions that danced across the ceiling like aurora borealis. I teetered between wakefulness and slumber, the voice serving as a gentle lullaby. Reality and dream intertwined, and in that twilight awareness, I glimpsed phantom forms in the audience, suggested by moonlight and shadow, sitting in reverent silence. As night deepened, a profound peace settled over me. The voice gradually faded, leaving behind a sense of gratitude, as if my presence had acknowledged and validated the stories held within those walls. The theater settled, creaking and sighing like an old friend preparing for rest. When I rose to depart, the voice had become a mere memory, an echo in the recesses of my mind. Yet the theater felt transformed, more vibrant despite its abandonment. With each step toward the exit, the aged floorboards protested gently, reminding me that some places never truly empty. They wait, holding their stories close until a willing listener arrives. Months later, I still feel the pull of that theater in the twilight hours. The voice remains, sometimes just a whisper, a gentle reminder that behind every curtain and layer of dust lie stories waiting to be heard by those who pause to listen. The theater endures as a sanctuary, where past and present blend, and memories twirl like dust motes in the moonlight, forever preserved in the enigmatic echoes of that mysterious voice. Story 42. In the quiet hours of a typical evening, a subtle enigma unfolded beneath me. Soft whispers, barely discernible, emerged from the ground below, blending with the distant hum of the city outside. Their ancient essence carried an urgency that tugged at the corners of consciousness. Each step I took seemed to stir the murmurs, as if the very floorboards held secrets long forgotten. My old house, a steadfast presence with its gentle creaks and settling sighs, now whispered with purpose. The meaning behind the hushed voices eluded me, like the elusive breeze through autumn leaves or the delicate flutter of pages turning in a library devoid of readers. The first hint of these mysterious whispers came as I brewed my evening tea, the steam swirling with the comforting scent of chamomile and honey. The wooden floor, worn smooth by time, exuded a warmth that defied the chill of the autumn night. Days turned into nights, and a pattern emerged. At sunset, when golden light painted my walls in hues of amber, the whispers grew stronger, their melancholic notes resonating with a familiarity that tugged at memories buried deep within. Succumbing to curiosity, I found myself drawn to sit on the floor, hand pressed against the pulsing wood. Certain floorboards, especially those near the bay window where morning light bathed the room, seemed to hum with a connection to the whispers. One rainy evening, as droplets tapped against the window, a symphony unfolded as the whispers synchronized with the gentle downpour. Shadows danced in the glow of my reading lamp, blending with the haunting melody that now filled the house. A sense of comfort enveloped me as I listened, prompting me to document the whispers' elusive patterns in a journal. They weaved tales in unknown tongues, yet spoke to the soul with poignant clarity. Memories of distant joys and sorrows unfolded, intertwining with the passage of time like a river through ancient stones. Winter descended, blanketing the world in snow and silence, amplifying the voices that carried the echoes of lives lived within these walls. In the quiet of those snow-laden nights, I found solace in sharing my own stories with the house, the floorboards seemingly listening with a warmth that mirrored a gentle touch. A bond formed between past and present, a duet of whispers and footsteps that echoed through the night. And on a frost-kissed night, a hidden treasure revealed itself as a brass key emerged from its concealed resting place, harmonizing with the whispers in a melodic crescendo. The key, a symbol of connection to the enigmatic presence below, became a talisman of sorts, warming to the touch with a silent promise of belonging. Its mysteries intertwined with the whispers, offering glimpses of understanding just beyond reach. By candlelight, amidst the gentle hum of the house, I embraced the mystery as a part of my home's essence, a melody woven into the fabric of my existence. The brass key now rests against my heart, a beacon of the unknown that whispers in the liminal space between slumber and wakefulness. Its song, intertwined with the murmurs below, hints at truths that transcend language, inviting me to feel rather than dissect the mysteries that linger. The floorboards still hold their gentle warmth. The whispers still rise to greet the dawn, a reminder that some enigmas are meant to be embraced, not unraveled. And in that delicate dance between understanding and mystery, I find a tranquility that only whispers can convey, a melody of the soul that lulls me into a peaceful sleep. Story 43. Returning to my childhood home to sift through old family treasures, I was embraced by the musty fragrance of aged wood and forgotten tales. Roaming a dim parlor adorned with portraits of ancestors, I stumbled upon a figure donned in period garb, his eyes mirroring mine with an eerie familiarity. In a tranquil yet oddly assured manner, he introduced himself as my doppelganger. In that instant, the hushed abode resonated with concealed truths and the implicit bond of intertwined fates. The soft afternoon sunlight filtered through dusty window panes, casting gentle shadows that pirouetted across weathered floorboards. With each step taken deeper into the house, memories stirred, drifting like specks in the golden rays. The recognizable creak of the wooden stairs beneath my feet played a melody long forgotten, yet resonant in my very core. I felt drawn to the parlor, where generations of kin had convened for countless evenings. Despite the shrouded furniture and dust-coated surfaces, the room maintained its stately air. As I traversed the space, my fingertips traced the intricate carvings on the chair rails, sensing the subtle warmth of the wood beneath. The portraits adorning the walls seemed to observe me with benign curiosity. Their countenances, softened by time and shadow, bore the familiar features passed down through our lineage. I had always found solace in these silent witnesses, their eyes harboring wisdom accumulated over decades of silent vigil. His arrival was not abrupt, but rather as if he had always lingered there, patiently awaiting in the periphery of my vision. His presence felt as natural as the afternoon light that bathed his form. Clad in attire of yesteryears, a finely tailored waistcoat and high collar reminiscent of the house's former glory, it was his visage that held me spellbound. Gazing at him was akin to peering into a mirror that reflected not just my likeness, but something deeper, the essence of a past self. His eyes bore the same hue of gray as mine, with the same subtle asymmetry my mother often remarked as pensive. Even his posture, with one shoulder slightly elevated, mirrored my own stance. "I've been awaiting your arrival," he uttered, his voice resonating with the same timbre as mine, yet laced with an accent of a bygone era. Though, in a sense, I have always been here. The uncanny comfort of his presence dispelled fear. Instead, a profound sense of recognition enveloped me, as if I were encountering a fragment of myself long acknowledged yet never before met. The room seemed to hold its breath, dust particles suspended in the air between us like stars in a private cosmos. He traversed the room with a familiarity, his fingertips grazing the same carved motifs I had touched moments earlier. "The house retains memories," he whispered, "and through it, so do we. Every creak in the floorboards, every shadow on these walls, they are fragments of a narrative that belongs to us both." As the afternoon light waned, casting elongated shadows, we settled into matching wingback chairs. Conversation flowed effortlessly, akin to a stream finding its course, intertwining our words with memories that seemed to be shared, yet uniquely ours. He recounted events I had not witnessed, but inexplicably recalled, of candlelit gatherings in this very room, melodies from a long-vanished piano, mirth and sorrow that had seeped into these very walls. Time lost its hold as we conversed. The shifting light through the windows morphed from bright noon to dim dusk, never quite settling. The portraits surrounding us appeared to subtly transform with each glance, at times displaying familiar faces, at others revealing versions that felt equally recognizable, yet belonging to different epochs. "We are intertwined within this space," he gestured to our surroundings. "Past and present, memory and moment, they are not as disparate as perceived. This house comprehends this truth better than most." As night descended, the shadows deepened, though not menacingly. The darkness felt akin to a soft shroud, enfolding us both in the comfort of shared understanding. The stranger, my alter ego, seemed to blur, his edges melding with the encroaching darkness. "Remember," he intoned, his voice now seeming to emanate from all directions and none simultaneously, "you are not merely who you are today. You are every iteration of yourself that has ever existed and will ever be. This house understands. These walls retain." When I departed the parlor, evening had fully enveloped the house. The portraits observed my exit with the same kind gaze they had always possessed. Yet now I comprehended a deeper layer in their stare. In their visages, I glimpsed not solely my forebears, but diverse manifestations of myself, coexisting within this realm where time held less power than memory. I never encountered my doppelganger again in such clarity, yet his essence lingers as I traverse these halls. Occasionally, in the tranquil moments when the house communicates through its settling murmurs and creaking boards, I catch fleeting glimpses of him in my peripheral vision, or detect the echo of our shared voice in the whisper of wind through the corridors. And now I grasp his wisdom. We are all interconnected here, our narratives intertwined like the motifs in the wooden rails, boundless and everlasting in the serene embrace of this eternal abode.